I'm Yoshi Lomax, superstar attorney at law and fugitive.
So, you're the famous Yoshi Lomax.
Probably more infamous. I'm on the run from the federal government for crimes that I didn't commit.
Gentlemen, I'm Deputy U.S. Marshal Sharon Starr. I'll be taking things from here.
Not to mention being on the hit list of at least 3 of Miami's major crime bosses.
I wanted to apologize in person for leaving so abruptly last night.
Welcome back.
That's Vladimir Kuznetsov, a Russian crime boss. He's been a suspect in over a dozen missing person cases.
I mean, I didn't get here to be this successful for doing things the American way.
I need a list of the jury for my case with Hanju.
Oh, really? What's that worth to you? Oh, my God, you're such a...
Mr. Santana is to be released upon processing.
So what do you know about Sheldon Chisholm?
What do you want to know about him?
I really need to know if you're going to take my case. I don't have time to play, Miss Lomax.
Money is not a problem.
You know anything about his case?
It's being handled by agents in my field office.
I've learned that in this game of life, in order to win,
Ready to dance?
you gotta play dirty. You might look at me and see a beautiful, confident, successful woman.
Congratulations, counselor. Yet another win.
But underneath, I'm flawed. I'm broken. And I'm scared. So I have no choice but to run until I can find a way to clear my name.
Miss Lomax is now considered a fugitive of the United States. Catching fugitives is my business, which makes her my suspect. You and your associates are relieved.
Look. She killed one of our own.
But I will not give up.
All right, people, listen up. Get a picture of Miss Lomax out there so the public knows what she looks like.
I will not give in.
Okay. People, we got a game plan. Let's break and execute.
I will not get caught.
Time to go hunt.
Real talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Dupree, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
This is Vicky Judy, Orange is the New Black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Rita Parks, and you're listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And nothing less. What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Real Talk with the Director and the Jedi Council. I'm the Director. We'll be with you for the next 120 minutes or so. Real Talk is brought to you each and every Monday. B2S Media. We broadcast live via the World Wide Web on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and Twitter via Periscope. Today, it's gonna be May. It's May 3rd, Monday. Yes, I was the culprit putting my Justin Timberlake, it's gonna be May memes out there. And people are just sitting there like, what is with that? What's with? I mean, most people know what it is. It's an online joke, and most people. Some people ask me, what does that mean? Why is Justin Timberlake's face is there? So In Sync, Justin Timberlake with In Sync, they had "It's Gonna Be Me," but the way he said it was "It's gonna be May," so it sounds like May. So everybody, every year in April, when it's like the last week in April, people are like, "You know what's happening next week, right?" And then they have a picture of Justin Timberlake. It's gonna be May. So every time it caught on so much that you don't even have to put "It's gonna be May" anymore. You just put his face. That's what makes it funny. It's just a smiling face of Justin Timberlake, and you're like, everyone knows what that means. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much the joke. I always thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious, actually. When people are like, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" It's gotta be. I'm like, yo, it's just you gotta be. It's all internet stuff, man. So I have I'll do a screen share, and I show the one I used to have posted on my. See if I can find it. The one that I posted on my page. Let's see. Just so people see what I mean. So there's my Facebook page, and right there, roses are red, April is gray. But in a few days, you just have a picture of Justin Timberlake smiling. So everybody knows what that means now, So happy May to y'all. Soon it's good. Tomorrow will be Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And we wish all of you, may the 4th be with you tomorrow. Who knows what they're in. I guess, Disney's still doing their thing, pandemic or not. So, normally Disney's doing some sort of, cool thing over at Hollywood Studios or something. They got the Star Wars themed area over there. So I can only imagine how cool that's going to be. Anyway, today we got a cool show lined up. We're going to talk some movie stuff. Talk about Marvel laid out their Phase 4 trailer. They rolled out their Phase 4 trailer. It looks good. Gave you a nice nostalgic feel when it came to all of the stuff that happened in the MCU up until this point and what we can look forward to. So in there, they revealed some names of the Marvel of the new movies that's coming out. We already know about Shang-Chi. We knew about Spider-Man. What's it called? No Way Home. But then they said Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That is the new title of Black Panther 2. We also talked about we saw a couple of clips from the Eternals, a couple of shots from the Eternals. That was interesting, exciting. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania, which we already knew the name of that. What else did they roll out? Oh, and then they ended it. Very interesting the way they ended it. Nice shot. It was real quick though, but the Fantastic Four logo in that final shot there. Very cool. Very cool. No subtitle for it yet, but it is definitely, you know what I mean? So Fantastic Four will probably end and round out Phase 4 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I want to take this quick moment to shout out the chat room, of course. Maddie, how you doing? Joseph, as usual, holding it down. We appreciate you. Whoever else comes through, we know some other cats are gonna come through, some late comers. Maddie, you early today. That's what's up. Maddie's like, she gonna get in and get out. It's all good. We appreciate you. We appreciate anybody who gets on this show, comes in here and gives their feedback. I'm sure we'll be seeing Jimmy Ace before long. Evan Hollywood may pop in here. Usual suspects. So, but yeah, so the Marvel Phase 4 is rolling out. That trailer was pretty cool. We also, let's see, let me make sure my levels is okay. Cool. I'm going to announce I'm going to announce the selections, the candidates for Mount Rushmore. We've already done the black sitcom characters. Now we're going to do the white sitcom characters, starting with males. I'm going to roll out and talk the poll has been put out there. I'm going to put the poll in the chat room. You guys, poll has been put into the chat room. You guys take a moment and go to the poll, select four characters. Jimmy Ace said he's already made his choices. Thank you, Jimmy Ace, and welcome to the show. Select 4 characters. All right, because you can only put 4 on Mount Rushmore, so it's a long list, and we'll get to that momentarily. I also wanted to do something else. This is something kind of last minute, but we could do stuff like that. We got a lot of movie knowledge in our brains. So I wanted to, and I still don't even have my list all together, but I got a lot of names in my head. I wanted to make a list, maybe like a top 5. We'll do 5 since it's like last minute. I want to do a top 5 movie roles that saved an actor's career. Top 5 movie roles that saved an actor's career. There's a lot, more than you think. I could probably come up with 10, but we're gonna go with 5 in the for the sake of time and for the sake of last minute stuff. I know Ralph could come up with 5. I know I could come up with 5. I got a couple already in my head. We're probably going to have almost the same people if we don't have the exact same people. So, yeah, my son just texted me. He's like, RDJ, Iron Man. He's already put that. Yeah, you guys, that's probably everybody's number 1 list, right? So we'll throw that out there in a minute, and we'll get to it. That should be good. But I definitely want to start with the Phase 4 rollout. We'll talk a little bit about that. We appreciate you. Oh, and also, anyone see the Michael B. Jordan movie? I call it the Killmonger movie. It's like Killmonger before he, came back. They tried to, go to Wakanda. No, I'm just saying that, but he was like, I call it the Killmonger joint. That's what Without Remorse, I think it was called. Yeah. So Michael B. Jordan's film, and but like I said, we'll talk Phase 4 rollout. We appreciate you guys joining us. You being there, we being here, and we're all in it together. So you are listening and watching to Real Talk with the Director and the Jedi Council. I am the director, and I brought my Jedi Council with me. Don't believe me? Well, here they are. Ralph, Kev, y'all in the building?
That's good.
Man, forget
Welcome
this
back.
May crap. It's the May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Forget this
Well, no,
Justin Timberlake suit
yeah,
and
it's good.
tie, zippy.
It's been the long
SNL guy.
that
Get
has
that
just
crap
been
out of
a long running internet joke. It's gonna be May.
I ain't never heard that. I never heard that joke before.
You saw it. You saw what I put up there, right? I put it on the screen. You
I
saw
have
that?
never. I saw it, but I have never heard that joke before. So
Never heard that joke. It's like a long running joke. People like every time, like for the last maybe at least 5 years, I've been hearing around April. Everybody's like, it's next week, right? What? It's gonna be May. I was just like, what the hell? And it's like I said, I just thought it was funny because he's not actually saying May, he's saying me, but the way he says it, it sounds like May. That's what makes it a joke. So people like, saying that, putting those memes, and it just became a meme. And what made it funny is it became so popular, you didn't even have to put the words anymore. All you have to do is put a picture of Justin Timberlake smiling. And they're like, oh, it's gonna be May. That's sweet. So, I don't know. It was just funny. It's worked, though. It's been going on for the longest. At least 5 years. So, but anyway.
Justin Timberlake is now December is a different story. That's when about Dick in the Box. That's when that's when you get Justin Timberlake means that one like okay.
Yeah, that's funny too. That is funny as well. But I'm saying that's hey, bro, I didn't make it up. This is just an internet meme thing, man. It's just like it's not as popular as like the cry face or whatever, but it just became this meme that everybody was, a lot of people were doing or was spreading, So like the Jordan cry face. Jordan wasn't even crying because he was like sad. And you know what I'm saying? But they use it as the Jordan cry, when people usually they use it when people are just like sad, embarrassed, whatever. But anyway, yeah, and of course May the 4th be with you, which is tomorrow. So we'll see how that rolls out. The Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 is rolled out, as I said at the top of the show. It went through some it was a very nice trailer because it started off and gave you that nice nostalgia and just that good feeling, that chills down your spine, good tingly feeling in your gut, type of deal. Really made you appreciate the films. It made you appreciate and miss to a degree, not even to a degree, miss and appreciate going to the theater experience. Because they're really, they really were pushing that theater experience thing because they're like in the middle of the trailer, they got the reactions when he says Avengers Assemble, and they got the people in the theater, reacted. So they really went there with it. And then at the end of it, they said, "See you at the movies," or something like that. They said, "I'll see you at the theater."
Yeah.
So they really were pushing that theater, experience. And it, as much as I'm happy that I'm one of the, not one of the few, a lot of people were happy, but I'm happy that Warner Brothers was able to put their films on HBO Max, so at least we don't miss the films. Yes, we missed the theater experience, but at least we don't miss the film experience of it all. So, but of course, like everyone else, I miss the theater experience. And not just going to the theater, because regardless of the fact, going to the theater for the next 2.5 years, even from now, is not going to be the same. If it ever is the same again, it's not going to be the same. Part of going to the theater, part of the experience for me, was not just experiencing it on the screen, of course, the big screen. But that's something, what the experience to me was, especially a big movie like Endgame and stuff like that, was going and experiencing with other fans, even fans that you didn't even know, because then it's almost like the same experience as a sporting event. When you go in to see the same team, you're rooting for the same team, you are rooting together no matter what. You're rooted together no matter what. So, same deal. That scene in Avengers Endgame, there was not a closed mouth in the theater. Everyone, or dry eye for that matter, especially near the end. But that scene where he says Avengers Assemble, everybody just lost it, including me. I was one of the main. And the funny thing is, every time I went to see it, I lost it. And I saw it, I had seen it like 4 times at that point in the theater. And I still was like, yeah. Like everybody, the only thing I didn't do was, get up and run towards the screen. That's what I felt like doing, though, like everybody else. But so that scene, that particular sequence, that whole scene, though, everything from when Cap first lifted the hammer, for all of that stuff, that whole scene, people were just like, yeah, you know what I mean? They was going crazy. And then when Sam said on your left, man, I was like, oh Lord.
I mean, to ask you guys, I always meant to ask you guys that line on your left, is that from the comic or is that something they put into it? Is that actually
that's not from the comic. That's actually from films earlier in the series. He said it really kind of is a callback from when Sam and when Sam and Cap first met, and Sam was running and Cap was like running next to him, kept lapping him, and Cap kept saying, on your left, and he's running past him, comes back again, on your left, he's running past him again, he's like, and then Sam's getting embarrassed by him, then he come back and he's like, don't say it on your left. He's like, damn it. So it's like Sam's doing his run, his laps, but obviously Cap is a super soldier, so the Cap is doing like 10 times the laps that Sam is doing. So I was like, I think they said it one more time too, like when Cap was in the hospital, something like that. But it was a callback to that. They did a lot of it's all fan service, you know what I mean? They did a lot of callbacks, stuff like that. So him saying on your left, it's just like, you're like, oh man, that's dope. That's dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when Cap was in the hospital, hospital bed, it was on your left.
Yeah.
Then in Falcon the Winter Soldier, the TV show, if you noticed in one of the scenes, everybody was to Sam's left in those in that final scene. Like it's a running theme.
It's a running theme which is something that the MCU does often. They have running themes, inside jokes, and they've been doing that often. But yeah, on your left is one of those things. They had a lot of callbacks in Endgame. Obviously, one of the biggest callbacks would be Avengers Assemble, because that's something that was never actually said. And that's from the comics, and from the cartoons, and they teased it in Avengers Ultron. I mean, or was it Ultron or end of Civil War? I think when he said it, when they were training them at the facility, and he was about to say it, and they cut it, and everybody's like, "Oh, come on!" So they had that planned all the way back then, years before. They're like, oh, he's gonna say it, but when he say it, it's gonna mean something. You know what I mean? Because Avengers Assemble is just like, oh, like I said, that's cartoons, that's comic books, that's everything. Even if you weren't a comic fan and you just watched the cartoon, you knew what Avengers Assemble was.
Yeah, I knew that. I was like, wow,
man. So that's what was. You know what I mean? And let's see what I was gonna say. Yeah, and that was good. So anyway, so the trailer rolls that stuff out, then it goes into the new stuff, what we they talk about. Like I said, what's coming, what's to come. We know about, obviously, they kind of did it in order, I guess. You talk about Black Widow, which is coming. You got Shang-Chi, you got Spider-Man, of course, Eternals, and then they, like I said, then they also had titles that we didn't really know. We knew they were coming, but we didn't know if they gave them subtitles yet. That would be Captain Marvel 2 is just called The Marvels, which to me, they didn't say nothing about it, but it tells me if it's going to be called The Marvels, then we know that obviously it's Captain Marvel. Then we may have, we got a taste of Monica Rambeau in WandaVision, who also for a short time in the comics becomes Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. Yeah, so even though she's getting her own movie, but maybe they'll introduce her in Captain Marvel.
I think she's going to show up in Captain Marvel. I think she's going to get her own movie, then she's going to show up in Captain Marvel, or she's going to get
one
a
of the
TV
two.
show.
Whichever one, if the movie comes out first, and I believe I gotta look at let me pull up the Phase 4 lineup, because I think the Captain Marvel movie is slated to come out before Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel 2, but let's see. MCU Phase 4 lineup.
I heard a rumor today, and I don't know if it's true or not. That
reminds me of the Umbrella Academy. I heard a rumor.
There is a Phase 4 movie. I mean, there is going to be another Marvel movie that is not listed on Phase 4 because they don't know where to put it. You know, my Marvel wanted to cash in on like that Batman Superman. So they wanted to do Deadpool versus Wolverine. I heard that. I was like, you got to be shitting me. Then they released this video.
Ryan Reynolds will produce that. He'd produce that all the way.
Yeah. But then I saw this video of Ryan Reynolds crashing this X-Men reunion, like online. And
that's old. That's from last year.
It looks like a parody. So I think someone saw it and just said, "Oh my God, they might do this." I don't think that's going to be what I like to see. Wolverine versus Deadpool.
That was actually a real reunion. Not to cut you off. That was actually a real reunion. That happened last year during the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, that actually really happened. That was a it was a Zoom. It was a Zoom.
Yeah, it was Zoom.
It was a Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds crashed it.
Yeah, but then someone else said, "Yeah, Marvel announced they're going to do a Deadman versus Wolverine movie." And I was like,
not true.
No, I like the idea. Yeah, but would they? No. Jackman said he doesn't want to come back. But if they're not
going to do that right now, right? Yeah, they're not going to do that right now. I mean, it would be a good idea. It'd be a great, concept, because Ryan Reynolds been teasing Wolverine in all of his movies, in the Deadpool movies. So it would actually be kind of fitting to do it. But the reason why they won't do it is because Kevin Feige, well, number one, they're Marvel, not DC. Take a little shot at Warner Brothers, because they're not, meaning they got their ish together. Kevin Feige ain't just going to throw that at y'all and not reintroduce the mutants to the MCU.
which they're slowly doing, but they're doing it with the existing characters, and the mutants are really not going to appear on screen until after the Eternals, the Eternals movie.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of which, so the Marvel Phase.
I'm sorry, Wes. Let me correct that. Mutants will appear on screen, actually, in two movies, possibly in the Black Widow movie, because they said Omega Red might show up in the Black Widow movie, and Omega Red is definitely going to be in Shang-Chi, along with a bunch of other mutants that are going to be at that tournament. Right. That's going to be like Enter the Dragon.
Kumite. So the lineup is Black Widow, obviously, in July. Shang-Chi is in September. Eternals is in November. Spider-Man No Way Home, December. So that's all this year. Then starting next year, the first movie next year will be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in March. Thor: Love and Thunder in May 6th. That's in May. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. That's in July. The Marvels.
I don't like that.
So yes,
I don't
that
like that
movie
title.
is so that movie is going to be before Miss Marvel. The Marvels, which is Captain Marvel 2, will be before Miss Marvel. Then you got Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That's in May of 2023. Oh yeah, those movies are in 2023. Ant-Man and Quantumania. And then Fantastic Four. That was the one they rounded out. That's going to round out the Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Obviously, no one has been cast yet. No one has, but they know that it's just in development right now. That's the only film out of all of them that I mentioned that's in development. Guardians of the Galaxy is in pre-production. They haven't started filming yet. Ant-Man and the Marvels are already filming. So Ant-Man and the Quantumania, that is filming. That's listed as filming status. The status for the Marvels is listed as filming. The status for Black Panther is listed as pre-production. And Doctor Strange, we know, is filming. All the other ones are in post-production. And because they're just ready to roll out. Black Widow's done. That's not even that's done. But you never know. You can do post-production up until freaking week before it comes out. Especially now that they're gonna put it out on Disney Plus as well. They can do post-production all the way up. So but that's how it is, man. You say, okay, so Black Panther, you don't like Wakanda Forever. You don't like that as a subtitle. Why?
Nah.
Why?
It just, I don't know. It seems like it just came from the movie, like Wakanda Forever, and then people started saying it in real life. And I no. It just call it Black Panther 2, or if you want to give it a subtitle.
they're gonna give it a subtitle because what else are you gonna give it? I mean, it's not like it comes from the movie, but that's something that the characters actually say. Like they say that all the time.
But you don't have to give it anything. You just been Black Panther 2. That's it. That's really it. Black Panther 2. You didn't have to spend.
That's boring. They didn't want to be boring.
Oh, I see.
I mean, they're gonna call
like
Thor
Iron Man 2, more iron. Okay, yeah. So it's not like you're not present.
They started. Remember, this is different phases. They started putting subtitles in their names and stuff like that later on. So you got Thor: Love and Thunder. You're just gonna call it Thor 4?
No, I'm saying maybe if it had a different sub name, I would feel different. But I do just calling it Wakanda Forever. It just seemed like it was just lazy. Like, oh, everybody's saying Wakanda Forever like this. Let's just call it that. Like, no,
for right now. It's probably just a filler. That's probably all it
maybe
is.
So.
Could be. I don't think it is, but it could be. The reason why I don't think it is because they put it in their official Phase 4 trailer. If that was the case, it's different if they don't like other people to announce what the name of their stuff is. That's what they don't like. So if someone else would have came out and been like, I think it's going to be called Wakanda Forever, they probably would have changed it. But just like they did with Endgame and stuff like that, they waited, and then finally they announced it, and that was the name. Everybody was thinking it was going to be called Infinity Gauntlet or this or that, different names, and they were trying to guess the name. But when they finally announced it in the trailer, Endgame, that's what it's called. Same thing with Spider-Man, No Way Home. Everybody was trying to think of what they're going to call it. And they have, even the cast joked about it. They were joking and trolling about it. They were all putting their own little graphics up there. Spider-Man, Homeboy, Spider-Man. They put all this stuff up there. And, Spider-Man, Home Alone. They just, even the cast was trolling. But then when they finally put the actual trailer out, and said it. They put it out. So once Marvel announces it, usually it stays the same. But regardless, I think it's going to be that. I think obviously it's going to be called that. It's not. It's not going to be called that for the reasons you think it is, Ralph. I think it's going to be called that because they're going to make it. They're going to try to make the film theme around more of Wakanda, because remember they're rolling out a show as well that's going to focus on Wakanda. So they're probably, they have to take it somewhere.
Actually,
yeah,
there's a couple of shows. It's going to be, I think, one about the Adora Milaje,
yeah.
There's a couple. I think they got Ryan Coogler to do like 5 different projects or something like that he's going to be doing.
Right. So when they're going to do one of the Disney Plus shows.
And on a side note, the Kamala Khan is not a movie. It's actually going to be a
Disney
show. Plus show.
Disney Plus show. Okay. So then I can almost guarantee she's going to show up in the Marvels movie.
She is, because if you look at the title, the end of the title it says Marvels, and the S at the end, the S is the end, is her symbol.
Yeah, the Marvels. Yep, that's true. I didn't look at it that way. Good point. Yeah, so they definitely are going to, so because Miss Marvel is one of the shows on there, which that actually comes out. That comes out
late this year, supposedly 2021.
No, it's saying here. Well, it says Miss Marvel is set to premiere. Yeah, and it says Miss Marvel will set up the Marvels. That's what it says.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Miss Marvel is set to premiere late 2021, and it will set up the movie The Marvels. So there's the answer right there. So we know that she's definitely gonna be in there, which is dope. They connected all the shows, putting all that together. So that's Phase 4, man. I think Phase 4, man. Like I don't doubt Marvel anymore, man. Every time, I never really did, but the few times that I did.
Blade.
No, well, it's not gonna be in Phase 4.
Well, Blade is not until Phase 5. They said that. 5. They said that last year.
Yeah.
Blade, the X-Men. What else? There's a couple of other ones that are not going to be until Phase 5.
Yeah.
So
that's why. But once again, this is why Kevin Feige is who he is, because once again, he doesn't want people. I'm surprised Fantastic Four made Phase 4 because.
But if you notice, it's at the end. It was after. I think they showed it after what? Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's the very last one that they show. Yeah, it's the very last title that they show in the trailer. And the reason why, it's kind of cool, Phase 4, so you won't put the Fantastic Four in there, right? But also, I was surprised that they put him in it because Kevin Feige is hell-bent on letting y'all know, listen, I want y'all to get it out your heads what y'all seen with Fox. You know what I'm saying? This is nothing, it's not going to have nothing to do with what we've seen with Fox. That's why he's pushing the mutants back so far. Like we said, they're
renamed. That's one of the movies. Not to cut you off, but that's one of the movies that's actually been renamed. That first movie of the X-Men is not going to be called the X-Men. It's actually going to possibly be called the Mutants, or that's what Kevin Feige has been referring to it as, the Mutants.
Yeah.
He hasn't been calling it X-Men.
Right.
He's been
They'll
calling
probably
it the
right. They may right, because they may just focus on the beginning of like mutants, like we said. They'll pop up in other movies, but they may focus on just the mutant crisis or whatever they call it, like what they were called, and then formulate into the X-Men. Figure out how they're gonna do it.
The second movie might be called X-Men.
Right, the second movie would probably be called X-Men, because then the thing is, if you're just talking about mutants and you're just talking about Professor X, just like how they're not going to make the mistake that Fox made by calling X-Men First Class when they weren't really the first class.
Because the actual first class was Beast, Angel, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Professor Xavier, and Iceman.
Yeah, that's the first class, and really, Professor X he wasn't part of the class.
Yeah, he's actually right. He's not a part of the class. He's actually the teacher.
The class. Yeah, Iceman. Yeah, that's them. Those 5. That was the original class. For them. So that's what I was expecting to see when I saw the title of X-Men First Class. I was like, oh, but
David flipped it and made Havoc the older brother. Like, how you gonna do that? He's the younger brother.
What the hell is that? He's the younger
and then
brother.
gave him hula hoop powers. Like, what?
No, that was terrible. But yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question. What you guys just said. I might get Fantastic Four, but could you really erase the X-Men from your memory? I mean, because there's so many X-Men movies. I mean,
no.
Let me phrase that. Is it easy to replace the X-Men? Like, just say, Fantastic Four, I might go with, because I mean, although I did like the first 2, but they were okay. The third one I thought was terrible. But X-Men is a little different because a lot of X-Men movies are pretty good. There's some clunkers in there, but a lot of them are pretty good. And you certainly got the Wolverine series also. So is it just, when we're talking 11 movies? Is it just so easy to say, hey, you guys did it, now we're going to redo it again?
It's not easy. It's not easy. That's why he's pushing it back. He wants, he wants you to kind of get it, as far out of your mind as possible. Of course, it's not going to be easy to do. That's probably why they didn't rush to do. They're not rushing to do it. You know what I mean? They wanna take their time.
But
they want to make sure that they're able to, because it's going to be hard to get those. Like I know what you're saying. Like Hugh Jackman's played Wolverine for 20 years or whatever the hell it was. For all these years. So like I said, it's going to be tough to get that stuff out of your mind. That's why you have to if these movies, let's realistically say, and even Kevin Feige said that he was just guesstimating, but he was like, I wouldn't look for any X-Men movie before like 2025.
But with that being in mind, I mean, because of the fact that once we live in a different time period now, where because of streaming services and TBS and stuff, like they'll play an X-Men movie every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Should it be instead of like phase 5 or something? Should it be like phase 7, 8 further down the line? Where now
it's not going to be. Again, it's just going to be. You got to remember. You got to look at how Marvel does things. They introduce people individually. So like for example, you're going to get, like in the Black Widow movie, you're going to start seeing some of the villains first. And actually there's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, there's also going to be a Hellfire Club series also that's in development. So that's going to be another thing that you're going to see. That's going to be another thing that's going to introduce, that's going to be related to mutants, to where you're not exactly going to see like Storm and Wolverine. And again, some of these characters are going to be introduced, but they're going to be introduced through the other films, and they're going to put them together one piece at a time to make them fit into the Marvel universe. That's why I said you're not really going to see, like, with the exception again of the ones that you see in Black Widow and Shang-Chi, after the Eternals movie is when you're probably really going to start seeing the mutants start popping up in movies, or at least start making cameos. If anything, it'll probably be in scene. It'll probably be in scene credits that you'll start seeing.
Probably seeing like post credits, seeing stuff like that.
And in the TV
I would
shows.
expect, in the shows, and I would expect to see. I would expect to possibly see one pop up in the Multiverse of Madness. I would expect to see at least one pop up in there. A lot of people obviously anticipated. I think that's another thing. I think a lot of people, especially Black folks, is so hell bent on recasting T'Challa so fast. Is because they've been so hell bent on possibly introducing Storm through the Black Panther, brand.
Which I don't think they're going to do that.
Well, then they're definitely not going to do it right now. But it was always a possibility to do that. But once again, because this movie, even if they were going to do it, they probably weren't going to do it in this movie. Even if Chadwick Boseman never died, or even if they recasted T'Challa, I don't think they were going to do it in this movie because it's kind of soon. You know what I'm saying? So there's still a lot of story for T'Challa to just go ahead and put Storm in there. You know?
Yeah, and again, if you're sticking to the comics, technically speaking, right now, Storm is probably either still in Egypt or she's in America.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah, she's probably in America. Yeah, by now. But yeah, either way. Yeah, she's one or the other. But the thing is, you know, and everyone was really, really big on that. But the funny thing was this, and this is just a comic book note. That actually wasn't that big of a story in the comics. It was a big story, but it didn't go over like everyone thought it would. That storyline, her marrying T'Challa. It was a big story. Like, you know, there was a big thing.
Yeah,
but
it was a big deal.
It wasn't very well written. You know what I mean? No mutants for quite some time. Yep, after Fantastic Four. Yeah, that's what Jay from Heroes to Icons said. Yeah, like Kevin Feige ain't playing when he said he guesstimated like 2025, man, or something like that. He said, and that's probably where it's gonna go. Because think about it, we already Phase 4 goes into 2023. You know what I'm saying? Phase 4 isn't even finished until 2023. So they're not even going to be starting Phase 5 till 2023, end of it to 2024.
Which means that right now, Phase 5 is starting development right now. Like they're in the development phase right now of Phase 5. So you're really not going to see anything until then. And above all of that,
2027.
So
it's not going to be that late. It's not going to be 2027. It's going to be 2024, 2025. They're not going to push it out that far.
Well, I mean,
because it has to happen.
This ends in 2023. Phase 4 ends in 2023. So they're going to go right into, you know, Phase 5 after that, but they just haven't really been talking about it, you know.
Right, and it's probably going to be 2024, and that's only because of what Kevin Feige mentioned before about 2024. Back when he first mentioned Blade, and he said, I haven't even begun to talk about mutants or the Fantastic Four when he was saying all that. He actually mentioned back then 2024. But even with that, you're really not going to get that until then, because again, like even with the Fantastic Four is probably not going to show up in the Fantastic Four movie first. They're going to show up in Ant-Man and the Wasp movie more than likely because of the character Kang the Conqueror, because of that character, and they're probably stuck in the city where Kang the Conqueror is. They're probably stuck in the quantum realm. Excuse me. In the old comic books, the quantum realm was actually called the microverse.
Yeah. And, so I think that you know, so really to kind of address your question, Ralph, I believe, you know, ultimately we probably won't see any X-Men, or at least be called X-Men. I'm not saying we won't see any mutants, but we're going to see any X-Men or mutants until probably
not called X-Men.
Probably until 2025, like what Feige said. You're
probably going to see mutants. You're probably going to see mutants, but you're not going to see them. They're not going to be called X-Men. Let's just put it like that. They're probably going to have their names, right? They're probably going to have their names, or whatever the case may be.
I mean, because think about this. Now, I know you didn't see. I don't know if you saw WandaVision, but here's the deal. In WandaVision, because technically Wanda Maximoff is a mutant. They've never addressed that because they couldn't at first.
Because they didn't have the rights to use the name mutants.
They couldn't use mutants, the name, but Wanda is a mutant. And in WandaVision, I don't remember which episode it was, but they did address, in a way, very subtly, address that she might be a mutant. You know, people who know she is, but they had an episode in there where they kind of did like a little bit of an origin thing, and they really went deep into her origin from Age of Ultron, when you know that when they told that story about one of Tony Stark's weapons, almost blew, killed the their parents, but there was one right there near them without exploding and stuff like that, and it never exploded, never detonated. So they went over that in detail in WandaVision, that episode. And
that she actually accidentally cast a spell.
So, right. That's what they were saying. The girl, the villain who was kind of narrating her, Agatha Harkness. Yeah, spoiler, right? Agatha. So,
is that really a spoiler? I mean, she got like this song on iTunes that like was #1, and it's like 45 seconds
it was
long.
Agatha
like,
all along.
It?
Well, that's
Agatha
what makes it a spoiler if you didn't watch the series. But if you was watching it, it wasn't revealed to like mid-series, not even mid-series, near the end of the series.
Yeah,
they revealed that it was Agatha all along.
Yeah.
Nah, she said that. I didn't watch it, but she came on. They interviewed her on The View. That's how I found out about it, and it was like this song. I was like, what song? And they showed
that was after, right? But that was after it was revealed in the show. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody knew at that point for sure because there was a lot of speculation during the WandaVision, and they trolled a lot of people.
They shouldn't even said it on The View.
No, but they saw it on The View because, like I said,
she came on The View after the episode.
After the episode.
I got that, but what I'm saying is that when you guys. When they have these actors do their press tours, a lot of times they're on the road on these talk show circuits after the movie came out. You don't sit there and tell the audience, well, this is what happened because the movies are out already. You shut up.
No, well, it's a TV show, and by the time she did that interview, if you didn't see it, guess what? No, but guess what? That's your bad.
Yeah, sure. That's what it is. That's why. Let me tell you something. I'm in several movie groups on Facebook, especially Black Films Rock music movie group. I always them cats up in there so butthurt all the time. It pisses me off. They're spoiler. I'm like, shut up. I'm like, yo. I'm like, do you got Disney Plus? Yeah. Well, guess what? So do I. So you got you on the same playing field as me. Don't be mad because I saw it before you.
Exactly. Get your ass up. Get your ass up at 3 a.m.
Oh, I ain't got time. I ain't got time to be watching. I ain't got time to be watching. That's your problem.
That's your problem. And
I'm sorry. I don't know if I agree with that sentiment or not. I mean, I get where you guys coming from. I don't know if I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Why?
It's a different story. All right, if it came on Monday, all right, and then the person interview on Tuesday, it's just a day. Now, if you said it's three, let's say 3 months down the line, that might
3 months. Wait. That's what I'm saying. Where does this rule come from? Who put it like this?
Okay, Wes,
there's always going to be a spoiler to somebody. Because you ain't seen it yet, hold on, and it's a spoiler to you.
Stop. Stop. We have been watching television way too long. Too long. We just say, well, who made that rule up? It may not be written down anywhere. It may not be written.
It's an unwritten rule, but no one has a timeline on it.
Hold on. If somebody, okay, I'll give you this example. If somebody had went to go see Avengers Endgame, okay, not the Thursday night before it came out on Friday, but they said there was an advanced screening that they saw it in LA on Tuesday. You went around see, and they went on to The View, which you were watching, and they spoiled the whole thing. You'd be pissed, like, yo.
No, I wouldn't, because number one, spoilers. I'm telling you, spoilers, quote unquote spoilers, never bothered me because number one, if I don't want to know, I'll turn it off. I won't watch it no more. I would have turned The View off. It's just that simple. If I'm watching The View, you would know. They're gonna announce who's coming on their show. This person's on the show.
But you would not have known. You would not have known that Robert Downey Jr., who's coming on The View, would sit there on his and say, "Yeah, at the end of this, I die." You would not have known that.
But see that first of all, nobody's ever going to do that ever.
No, they have. They have.
Who's done that?
The only show I ever remember where somebody did that was back in the 80s on the Arsenio Hall show, where he had Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito coming on to talk about the movie War of the Roses. And Arsenio Hall says at the end, "But you both die in the end." And they're looking like, "Yo, what the hell?"
He made that mistake.
He made that mistake. Now, that was generally a mistake. If you're sitting here and you're watching, like if Creed 3 is coming out tomorrow, okay, and Michael B. Jordan, who's going to be interviewed, he's on Saturday Night Live, he's on here, but also he comes on The View and he let that slip that Rocky actually died, that he actually died in 3, and that's why Stallone isn't in it. You'd be like, "Yo, bro, what the hell?" And even if you said, "Well, it's been out a week," and you didn't get the chance to see, if he said that within a certain time period, you would be pissed. Or most people would be pissed.
But here's the thing.
Guess what? That's your problem, dude.
Exactly. Because here's the thing. You have to realize, as a rule, when movies get released, movies are going to A, be reviewed. 2, there's a gag order between the time that the press and the actors go to the screening.
Right.
Because at the screening, there's 2 separate theaters, or sometimes 3 separate theaters. There's a theaters where the actors are and the people who participated in the film are. Then there's a theater for the B-roll people and the cast and crew. And then there's another theater, usually for just the press. And that's mingled in with the B theater or at the end. But wait, let me finish. Now, specifically with the press, there's usually a gag order on that, just like there's gag orders on TV shows. Like when they get to see these episodes, they get to see them early, usually before we get to see them.
Way early, because they give them time to write a review on it.
Right.
Give them time.
And that's why some people are like Grace are nice enough to write non-spoiler reviews of shows. Now, you have to expect that after the show is released, guess what? It's all hands off.
Yeah, it's a game at that point. It's a courtesy. It's nothing more than a courtesy, Ralph. That's what it is. It's a courtesy. It's hey, but the bottom line is, I said, look, I got Disney Plus, you got Disney Plus. If I watched it at 7 a.m, because that's what time I had to watch it, and you didn't watch it to 8 p.m. or 8 p.m, that's your fault.
Yeah, it's like we all
got
got
the same
HBO Max.
opportunity as I did to
It's
watch
like we all
it.
got
Hell, you could have watched it at 3 a.m. when it first dropped and seen it if you wanted to. I'm just saying, some people do that.
That's what
some
I
people
do.
don't. Some people
I don't sleep at night. I'm
if
up.
you up, why not watch it? So like, here's what I said. I posted, and I'll tell you this: the reason why I even brought that up. What I posted wasn't even a real spoiler. What I posted was a quote from the episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I quoted what Isaiah Bradley said. So, and then what he says about they'll never let a black man become Captain America. And he said, and any self-respecting black man wouldn't want to be. Yeah, wouldn't want to be. Right. So I quoted that, and people were like, spoiler, and I was just like,
well, I don't think that's a spoiler. You know,
they say it's a spoiler because now I know that Isaiah Bradley's going to be back in another episode. I said, well, if you've been watching this series and you didn't think Isaiah Bradley was going to show up again in an episode, you ain't been watching this series.
And you don't even understand the fact that he's a major plot point in the
that's
series.
That's your problem. But that's what I caught all types of hell. Spoiler alerts. You man, can you put spoiler alert next time? I was like, yeah, no.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I have an idea what a spoiler. I don't consider that a spoiler. Spoiler.
Right.
Not
Right,
really.
right. I didn't say Isaiah Bradley, this, that, and the other. Like, I didn't give any of the plot away. In my opinion, a spoiler is giving away the plot. Putting that quote doesn't give away the plot because you don't know why he said it.
It's
you
just
don't
a
know
line
who
of
he said it
dialogue.
to. Right. You don't know who he said it to. You don't know why he said it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not giving away the plot. It's not like I said Isaiah Bradley to Sam Wilson. What's his name? Sam
Wilson.
Yeah, Sam. Isaiah Bradley to Sam Wilson. Now that's kind of giving away a little bit of the plot because now I'm telling you who he said it to. You know what I'm saying?
But
people,
not only,
you know.
I mean, but not only that. I mean, if you want to deduct from your own, your own mental base, like, okay, he said that, so what? So there's some racist stuff going on in the movie. Well, obviously. So watch the movie and find out.
Watch it and find out. So that's what I'm saying. But people complain every little thing about spoilers, and like I said, yes, Ralph, I get it. I understand it. It's a courtesy, but there's no, so unwritten rule. I mean, it's just like in baseball. Baseball has sports have unwritten rules, right? Like baseball.
The same thing with books. It goes all the way back to books.
Yeah. Unwritten rule in baseball is you don't, if you hit a home run, you don't sit there and pose and watch your home run go over the fence. Like, there's no real rule that you can't do that. But that's an unwritten rule. If you do
a written rule,
it is, Ralph. Bro, Ralph, I've been watching baseball all my life. That is an unwritten rule. If you do that in baseball, you get the next time you get up at bat, that ball's coming at your head.
So you never heard it when Babe Ruth called his shot. He said it's going. Now that part might be the unwritten rule. That part, but there's been plenty of people that have hit a monster home run and have stood there and watched it go out the park. I'm sorry, that has happened. It's
like
not.
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, Ralph. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. What I'm saying is that is something that is frowned upon in baseball. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's frowned upon. It's called showing up the pitcher. It's unsportsmanlike. If you hit a home run, you can hit a monster home run, and you sit there and just watch it, like you showing up.
You're pointing at it. You're pointing at it like, ooh, like Rick.
You know what I'm saying? You do something like that. Yeah, you do something like that. The next time you get up at bat, that ball's coming at your head. It's just that plain simple.
Or you're gonna get hit in the hips.
You're gonna get hit with the ball, or it's coming for your head. Just like they also there's a whole bunch of stupid unwritten rules in baseball because it's supposed to be so much integrity. Just like, for instance, another thing that's considered like what is it? Like, for instance, Alex Rodriguez got called out for this, right? He, people was all on him because of this. He hit like a pop fly, or someone hit a pop fly, right? Like an infield fly, right? Yeah. Something like that. He's rounding the bases and he yells out like, I got it. And the dude actually thought it was one of his teammates that said it, and the ball dropped. No one caught it.
Yo, that's dope.
That one, you're
that is dope. I don't care. That is dope. I applaud him for that.
So people are like, oh, that's Bush League. Oh, that's this, that. And just like, yo, bro, I mean, even if the ball, I'm trying to remember if the ball dropped. Jimmy Ace is in the room. Maybe he remembers. Jimmy Ace, did that ball drop when Alex did that, or they still caught it? But regardless of the fact, that's like supposedly unethical. They got all these unwritten rules in baseball. But anyway, so these unwritten rules, I don't give a damn about that. I'm like, look, because yes, I'm not trying to be selfish, but hell, this is my thing. I'm like, you can easily, just like you could turn off someone spoiling it on TV, you could not read my post. You could just say, oh.
And for the most part, most people in their post, in their YouTube videos, they pretty much say like, okay, you know,
And I
spoiler
would put,
warning.
if I thought it, and I didn't put spoiler alert only because I didn't think that was a spoiler. Just like you said, Ralph, you didn't
I don't think
you
it
don't
is a
consider
spoiler.
that a spoiler. I didn't think that was a spoiler. That's why if I was truly trying to spoil something, or I was going to put something that could be a spoiler to people, I would put spoiler alert because that's just a courtesy, and I would do that. But if I put spoiler alert and you still read it, that's your own business.
I might go with that. I mean, the Simpsons did it best.
Spoilers don't bother.
But the Simpsons did it best when Homer took Marge out on a date and they're walking out of Return in by Trap. He says, "Who would have thought that Vader was Luke's father?" And the whole crowd said, "Yo, really? It's like that? Like you just walked out the movie, you're blabbing about it. Like that's the spoiler alert. Some line of dialogue really just
we were talking about it earlier. Me and Kevin talking about it earlier off air. When Ralph Cramden's mother-in-law, it wasn't the butler, it was the husband. Here's you are a blabbermouth. Blabbermouth. Perfect segue to our Mount Rushmore of white male sitcom characters.
I just want to say one more thing about Ralph's question with the X-Men.
Yeah.
Ralph, to a degree, it really won't be hard to forget those X-Men movies. One, because Dark Phoenix was 3 years ago. So that's going to be almost like a 7 to 8 year span between that movie, and then you're going to have like almost 25 plus years between the first X-Men film and the new introduction of new mutants, of different type of mutants. So, and again, they're not going to be called the X-Men right away. They're just going to be called mutants. So
if anything, Kev, I don't mean to cut you off, but if anything, it'll be harder. It's going to be harder to forget the actors because they've been with you so long. But the movies itself, people are not really going to think about them, especially when they see the new movies.
I disagree with that one because like I said, some of the X-Men movies, like X-Men 1 and 2, and I would say First Class and certainly Days of Future Past, those are great movies. Yeah, X-Men 3, there's elements of it. I mean, I can't blame him completely for that because he got called in the last second. But Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix are horrible.
Those were bad. Yeah.
Horrible. So I'm saying if you just take the ones that are X-Men movies and if you just take the ones that are X-Men movies and not include Wolverine, that's 8 movies right there. 4, possibly 5 4 were great. 1 was okay, and the other 3 are bad. But now, I mean, come on, TBS, TNT, all these they're constantly.
You gotta remember too. That's going to, and that's also going to slow down. By the time those movies get ready to get released, trust me, that's going to slow down because now some of those movies are available on the Disney.
On Disney Plus, yeah. A lot of them are on Disney Plus now on the app. So as they come more available on the app, they're gonna start pulling that IP. They're gonna start pulling the licensings.
Yeah, because the license is just gonna start expiring for some of that stuff, and they're just not gonna renew the licensing. And the only thing they'll renew licensing for is for the newer movies. But again, that's going to be after they premiere in theaters, and then after they premiere on Disney Plus, and then they'll probably fade into the process of going into going on to TV. With the exception of stuff like Stars and whatever deals FX have with Sony have with have with Netflix and whatever the case may be, because those deals are through Sony. So even though it's Marvel, the deal is still being made through Sony. So those deals will still be, whatever.
Jay from Heroes Icon says, if you watch it and the show drop, open season, talk freely. Spoilers is a go.
Listen,
I'm just like,
that's my motto.
Like I said, I don't know, man. If I get what you're saying, if I actually, this is just my preference, if I actually feel that I'm going to spoil it for someone, I will put spoiler alert before my post. I do that as a courtesy, but I don't do it because it's a rule, and I don't wait no certain amount of time to talk about something. And because what the hell? I'm wait some certain amount of time. You didn't watch it.
I'm putting it like this. I'm 50. I'm dying faster than most of you motherfuckers. So therefore, fuck a spoiler alert. I'm talking about shit.
Comment. I got no comment to that one. I'm dying. What you gonna do? Wow.
Yo, he's stupid.
Wow.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
I'm 50 and I'm dying. What you gonna do about it?
I'm dying faster than most of you. Yeah. So let me go and take a quick let me look at this preview here. Okay. So that's funny. We have.
Man, I'm sorry. That's just extra. I'm 50. I'm dying. Deal with it.
Deal with it. All right. So
what you
I'm
gonna do?
I'm gonna run through the Mount Rushmore of the list. Now, obviously, that people will be voting on. We put the poll out there. The poll is in the chat room. I will paste it again so you guys could go to the poll and vote. This is sitcom male characters, white sitcom male characters. So here it is. This is in no particular order because I have it randomly, but these are all of the candidates, and we may even add a couple. So
yeah, there's a couple people missing from this list, man.
Chandler Bing from Friends, Sam Malone, Cheers, Jack Tripper, Three's Company, Kevin Arnold, The Wonder Years, Fraser Crane, Frasier, Jerry Seinfeld, Phil Dunphy, Modern Family, Archie Bunker, All in the Family, Al Bundy, Married with Children, Tim Taylor, Home Improvement, Tim the Tool Guy, Sheldon Cooper, Big Bang Theory, Gilligan's Island, Frank Reynolds, that's from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Ralph Cramden, The Honeymooners, Fonzie, Happy Days, Dick Solomon, Third Rock from the Sun, Charlie Harper from 2.5 Men, Doug Heffernan, King of Queens, Henry Rush, Too Close for Comfort, Rob Petrie, Dick Van Dyke Show, Corey Matthews, Boy Meets World, Andy Taylor from The Andy Griffith Show, Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother, and Ray Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond. So those are our candidates at the moment. And these are who you go ahead and vote on. These characters, obviously, most of them were the leads of the show. If they weren't the actual lead of the show or the sole lead of the show, they were the heart of the show, or they were probably the best character of the show, or, something like that. That's pretty much how we kind of, round this stuff out. Obviously, there's plenty of characters in Modern Family, but he is pretty much the lead character in Modern Family. All right, so that's why he's on the list. Phil Dunphy, obviously, no question between Archie Bunker, Al Bundy, and all of them. As we know, Sheldon Cooper is the heart of the show. He is one of the leads of the show. So, of course, he's going to be on there. Gilligan, the damn show was called Gilligan's Island. So, we know who the lead is there. Ralph Cramden, obviously, these all goes without saying. These all goes without saying. Ralph Cramden. Charlie Harper, he was the best character on the show. Just that plain and simple. That show went, to me, in my opinion, that show went crappy when Ashton Kutcher came on there. I love Ashton, and I was going to put him in for that 70s show. I was going to put his character in for that, but he's not everybody's favorite character. He was a lot of people's favorite character on that show, but not everybody's.
He sucks.
Doug Heffernan doesn't, no question. He's whatever. So everybody on here, and there we go. Barney, he was the favorite. He was the most liked character on the show. Period. He was the most liked character on How I Met Your Mother. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put him in there. Ray is the Ray. The show's called Ray or whatever it's called. Everybody hates Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond, I should say. So yeah, all those people we have in there. So you guys can go and vote. You pick four people from the list who you think should make Mount Rushmore of sitcom characters. We all know, and we're briefly going over that. Like I said, the Chandler, there are 3 male leads in Friends. I did not watch Friends, and if there's people out there that are real big fans of Friends and they want to give me a reason why Chandler should not be on the list, and maybe one of the other ones, I don't remember their names, Joey and the other one, what's the other one's name? Miles or something like that. Miles, what was his name? I forget their names. David Schwimmer's character. If you want to tell me one of them should be on as opposed to Chandler, tell me, because I didn't watch the show. So, but to me, from what I've seen a few episodes. From what it's been, he's pretty much been the bigger, more popular character of the men. And him, just like Jennifer Aniston, is definitely the most popular female character on that show. But there's a lot of people that would say the Monica character is the best character. People say that Courtney Cox character. People like that because she was funny though, especially when she put the fat suit on. Those episodes are funny when they showed all of her, because remember her character used to be fat. So she's so thin. That's what made it so funny, because she's so thin, and her character when she was younger was fat. So Courtney Cox would be in a fat suit, and she was funny as hell doing that. So that was funny. I'm sorry, that was funny. People did it. So we'll see. So people have to educate me on that, because there's some of the more modern shows like The Office and stuff like that. Like, these are shows that, number one, I didn't watch, but number two, a lot of those shows are ensemble casts that are like, you're gonna get a lot of people saying, no, this guy's the funniest. No, this was the best character. No, this was the best character. To me, it's nothing definitive that it was the best character. You can definitively make an argument that Sheldon's the best character on Big Bang Theory. May not be your favorite character. He wasn't my favorite character. My favorite character was Wolowitz. He was my favorite character.
Wolowitz.
I love Wolowitz, right? Because I love that actor, man. He's hilarious to me. You know what I mean? So
he's in old school. He's in old school.
Yeah. Yep. And
the guy that played Wolowitz, he's in old school.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about him too? They really started using later in the seasons. They started using his full talent, his full skills, because he's a very good impressionist. And when they be playing D&D,
that was funny.
They'd be like, oh, and then he runs into Al Pacino, and then he'll do this Al Pacino.
You're playing D&D.
He'll be like, you're playing D&D. You're playing D&D. He's doing Al Pacino. He's done, he'll do his impression. He does a great Al Pacino too, and he does a great.
Because on the side, On a side,
Christopher Walken.
On a side note, speaking of Al Pacino, Scarface is now on Netflix.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Yeah. So all you.
Oh wait a minute. On another side note, I was at the mall this weekend, right? You know that those Funko Pop things. There's now a Scarface Funko Pop. I saw it in the mall.
I
was like, whoa.
Netflix must have put that out there because they knew they were going to be putting it on Netflix. Well, whoever, but obviously that's not. I don't think that's a coincidence that they're going to put a Funko Pop Scarface out, and then next you know it's available on Netflix.
Yeah,
to stream. Very good movie. Once again, though. Not for the faint of heart, you butthurt people of the 2020s, stuff like that, because guess what? There's cursing in it. There's killing in it. There's misogyny in it. There's cocaine use. There's sexism.
Oh yeah, that's right, there is.
Yeah. There's all types of stuff.
He out front just calls his wife no baby having bitch.
Yeah, basically.
Drug addict.
So be careful, cancel culture. And all of that stuff is in there. And I forgot the big one. It's 3 hours long. God forbid.
But you know what? Not to sidetrack.
And it keeps moving. It doesn't slow. It keeps moving. It doesn't slow down.
Yeah, and not to jump off the topic that we're on, but I think Scarface is the one movie that people are not going to talk about because it's such a culturally ingrained movie that you could probably get punched in your mouth acting sideways about Al Pacino playing Tony Montana.
That's what I'm saying too, though. That's where's the cancel culture? Oh my God. An Italian playing a Cuban. He's not even Cuban. He's not even Spanish. He's not even Latino. He's Italian. Oh, listen, that's Hollywood whitewashing. Whitewashing.
Say something if you want to.
But I'm just saying.
We need to discuss this. We're going to get back to the movies, but I saw this the other day in a movie chat room, and they said, name 10 roles that define. No, that's our question. It said 10 roles that are immortal, right? And nobody put Scarface by Al Pacino down there.
Wow.
Which I was like, wow, yeah.
How can that not be on there?
I had to find the list. Whoever did this, they put
Did they do Vito Corleone? Did they do Vito Corleone?
No, they didn't.
They didn't do Vito Corleone.
No,
wow.
They did not.
Wow. Well, let me tell you something. Vito Corleone, Scarface,
Tony Montana,
Tony Montana, and Reagan from The Exorcist are immortal. Period.
Yeah, I'm saying. I mean, come on, man. When I see it, Tony Montana.
When I see it, I'm going to, as we're
immortal
talking,
characters.
Immortal.
So what would they put in stuff like what, Gone with the Wind or something like that? Would they put in movies?
No. I remember one of the characters that they put down there was Max Trickle from Taxi Driver, right? And they put Daniel Day-Lewis from There Will Be Blood. I remember those two. But then someone said, well, what about Heath Ledger and the Joker? And then someone said, well, he was overrated. And people was like, what? No. Well, okay. You only say that because he died. I was like, no.
It's just like racist. When people say dumb shit like that, people just need to start getting punched in their face. I'm sorry, I'm 50, I'm dying. It's just like, we have to start getting to the point to where we don't care anymore. When people do dumb stuff, they need to just be checked right on the spot. Like how is Heath Ledger overrated as the Joker?
How can he overrated? I mean, right out the gate, they didn't put Heath Ledger. They didn't put. Immortal characters. An immortal character is a character. I mean, I don't know what their definition of immortal character is or role. immortal role in a film is, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, if the only way, I mean, I would put Heath Ledger on there, but the only way that I wouldn't put Heath Ledger is if your definition of immortal is no one else can play that character like
character again, right?
Yeah, can never play that character again like you did. And trust me, there are a lot of arguments that will argue that Phoenix played the character just as good as Heath Ledger, if not better. So there has been, and because that there's that argument, and then you still have your few that will argue Jack Nicholson too. So because of that, that's the only way that I don't put Heath Ledger, if that's what they mean by immortal. Like, there's no one else that can play Scarface, period. That's not happening. That'll be able to do better than what
Al Pacino did. Yeah.
All right,
period.
I just found it.
Not even a Cuban actor can't do it.
No, exactly.
So
okay, I just found this list by this guy. These are the ones that he said are, because the question that I just saw, he said, okay, he said the immortal role. So this is who he says: Anthony Ledger, Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal Lecter. Okay. Daniel Day-Lewis as Daniel Plainfield from There Will Be Blood. Christoph Waltz as Colonel Hans Landa from Inglourious Basterds. Daniel Day-Lewis again in Bill the Butcher from
Bill the Butcher. I said Bill the Butcher did before the other one, but go ahead.
I would say Plainfield before Bill the Butcher. I think I would say I think I might go with Plainfield over Butcher. Then they said Travis Bickle. Robert De Niro as Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver. Then Malcolm McDowell as Alex DeLarge. I think it's from A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Then they re-added Heath Ledger as Joker because they forgot about him.
Oh, they forgot about it. Okay.
Which I totally do not agree. Right. I totally don't agree with this one. Denzel Washington as Frank Lucas from American Gangster. No. Malcolm X.
No, that's not immortal, because anybody could have played that role. You know, any good actor.
Malcolm
I'm just saying. You want to say Malcolm X? Fine. You want to say immortal? You want to say Malcolm X because he embodied that character. He became Malcolm X. Period.
Yeah.
So you want to say that? Most definitely.
I don't think nobody could have. I don't think nobody could have played Frank Lucas and pulled it off the way that he did, the way that Denzel did.
The reason why I say it, Kev, is because nobody knew how Frank Lucas was, except for people that knew Frank Lucas. He wasn't like a public figure, so that's what I mean by someone else could have still played the role and did a good job, because there's really no reference out there for us to reference. Now, when he played Malcolm X, there was references to reference against that. And it's like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying?
The reference was Malcolm X.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The reference was Malcolm X himself. So there was footage of Malcolm X from the past. So when someone plays a historical character or plays a real person, someone like him, he was a person that was in the news and in the press, and he had something to really go by. So that was to me, that's more and more. But I think he did a great job as Frank Lucas, but I wouldn't consider that an immortal role.
No, not an immortal role. No.
Not for him. He's had too many great roles.
Then they got
Training Day before that. I say Man on Fire, Training Day. John
Reese from Man on Fire.
John Reese, yeah.
Is an immortal role.
John Wick. Okay, Neo, is that an immortal role? Did he put that on there?
No.
Did he
then they put Joe Pesci as Tommy DeVito from Goodfellas. But the last one, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. He got Leonardo DiCaprio as William Costigan Jr. from The Departed. Hell no.
That's not even his best role. I mean,
it's not.
I would put the Wolf of Wall Street before I did that. I put the Wolf of Wall Street before I put that role.
Titanic.
Titanic.
I
That
put
would be
Titanic
his
above
immortal
anything.
role
Above anything.
because that was the big blockbuster film that still lives on. It became a pop culture thing, and people still Jack, Rose, Jack.
God,
You
y'all
know,
just
I'll
said that.
never
Y'all
let
just
go.
said that. Y'all just said that, and Celine Dion popped up in my head. Now I can't get the song out my damn head.
Exactly.
See,
That's what I'm saying.
talking
That's all
about.
part of it.
So
That's all part of what becomes
you say
the
William
immortal.
Costigan. I'm like, who? Who?
No. Like I said,
But this is
that's
what
not
the
even
guy
his
put
best
up.
role.
Nah, but that's what this guy put up, and this
And that's
chat
all
room
he
that I'm
put?
in.
How old is this guy?
People, I'm looking at the comments.
How old is he?
I don't even know. So I'm looking at the comments, right?
He can't be more than 30.
Probably not. So then he said, so like I said, the Heath Ledger one, he deleted the original one and put up the Heath Ledger. He says, there is no way that Heath Ledger's Joker performance misses this list, and I apologize for this error. It won't happen again. So people saw comments said, he said, you forgot about Humphrey Bogart, and so they put memes. Humphrey Bogart from Casablanca.
Humphrey Bogart's the same guy in every movie. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Like they're showing a picture here.
I love Casablanca, but that dude is the same guy in every movie. Like
every movie.
Just like Clark Gable was. I liked Clark
picture.
Gable too, but he was the same guy in every movie.
Yeah,
Clark Gable.
Now, someone down there they do put a picture of Al Pacino as Michael from The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got this picture. I think this is Robert Mitchum. And I'm like, from what? You know, but this is the one that got me.
Talk about real immortal characters. Here's an immortal character. An immortal character is Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. An immortal character is Sean Connery.
You can't see him, right? You cannot see anyone else play Indiana Jones, at least not in the foreseeable future. You can't. So that's an immortal character. Luke Skywalker. That's an immortal character. That's an immortal role. Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker.
And technically speaking, everybody who played James Bond to a degree is an immortal because of the different ways that each one of them played it. Like,
no. You might have said Sean Connery. I've been like, yeah, but am I going to put Sean Connery on the same level? Wait a minute, Brenda. Am I going to put Roger Moore on the same level as Sean Connery? Hell no. No.
But see, the thing with James Bond, and I see where you're going with it, Kev. The thing with James Bond is it's a generational thing.
Exactly.
Now, Roger Moore was actually my generation of James Bond.
It's a generational thing.
Right. Roger Moore was actually mostly my generation coming up James Bond. But he's not my favorite James Bond because I watched all the other films. But some people, some people will say Roger Moore because that's the one they grew up with.
I put it like this. If you were born in 1970, from 1970 to 1982.
I'm from 1970. Roger Moore ain't the guy. He's not the guy.
No, he didn't say
no, you got to understand though, Ralph. But for most people, it is because most people introduction to James Bond, to Roger Moore, to James Bond is Roger Moore for when ABC used to run the James Bond shows on Sunday nights. That's where a lot of people,
kids that grew up in the 80s, that was kids in the 80s, they will say, but he's not my favorite Bond. But I'm telling you, you will get people.
I'm from the 70s. My first James Bond movie is Moonraker. That's the first James Bond movie I actually saw. I saw Moonraker. Then I did not see at the time. I did not see For Your Eyes Only, but I did see Octopus. I thought Octopus was really good.
Yeah.
Right. Then they don't want to start looking at the Connery movies, and I'm like, he was better. He was smoother. He wasn't coming with those dry one-liners that Moore was coming with. He was better. Now people from today would probably say Daniel Craig. I might raise
some
the
people would say that
argument with Daniel Craig.
Again,
I
but
really,
that's why.
really,
But that's why.
raise the
But see,
argument.
but that's why.
That's why he said what he said, because you're gonna have Jennifer. I'm telling you right now, the only ones that people aren't gonna argue are the ones that's been maybe once or twice, maybe one or two movies. But you're gonna get an argument about Connery. You're gonna get an argument about Craig. You're gonna get an argument about Bronson. You're gonna get an argument about Roger Moore. You're gonna get an argument about all of them.
Yeah, and if you're talking to me, you're gonna get an argument about George Lazenby, because I think he got the short end of the stick. He was a very good James Bond for the one movie that he did.
Not for nothing.
Teresa was fine as hell.
I'm in that category. I'm gonna defend Timothy Dalton. I'm gonna defend Timothy Dalton to the end of time because I think he got holes. But man,
exactly.
But man,
his movies weren't
You
bad.
can't sit
his
there and
movies weren't bad.
I didn't think his movies was bad. I didn't like him as James Bond. To me, he looked like a villain. He just seemed like a villain.
But that's what made him. That's what made him so good, because it kind of gave James Bond that. It kind of gave James Bond that edge. To me, they gave him that edge. Just like with Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig is like the grimy bad boy. No home training. You know what I'm saying? That's what gives him that edge.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. That's why I said this.
All I gotta say is this. All I gotta say is this. This was the middle finger to all of the James Bond purists, fanboys. Shaken or stirred? Do I look like I give a shit?
Give a damn. Exactly.
Do I give a damn?
Yeah, do I look like I give it to him? I don't get. Yo, when he said that, I said, "Okay, let's get it.
I'm with it now. I'm really with it.
I said, "Okay, let's get it."
Because basically, he's like, "Motherfucker, did you not just see me lose how much money at this table, and you asking me how I want my drink? Motherfucker, give me my goddamn drink."
They said right there, we're going out the window with the cliche stuff. The whole shaken, not stirred.
Yeah,
nah, son. They're like, nah, son. He said, "Do I look like I give a damn?" Yo, that is hilarious. That was
I was
like, okay,
we going there.
Let's get it. I was like, here we go. I mean, to me, I just wanted to say about that. I mean, I love all the films he was in, but my best experience still was the first film with him, because that opening scene with the parkour with the dude. Oh my God! It was just so
in the bathroom.
It was so exciting to see. You've never seen Bond in this light before, with this type of villain, and him physically running and doing all of this parkour and going after the guy. That guy was. First of all,
the only other two James Bond that actually did that was Roger Moore and George Lazenby. I mean, you did have Sean Connery fought, but he wasn't chasing no damn body.
Hell no. No, what I'm saying is, at that point, number one, parkour was not really shown much on screen in the big screen. If you didn't know about parkour, you didn't know what the hell he was doing. You're like, yo, what the hell's up with this dude? And what people didn't realize,
it was more so on TV.
Yeah, it was seen more on TV and on the internet. So people are like, yo, parkour is something that's done in the street. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, when breakdances were first seen on television. People didn't know what that was, but it was seen in the street for years. When what's his name? Jeffrey Daniel moonwalked, or actually it's called the backslide. Jeffrey Daniel backslides on TV,
breaking,
and he backslides on Soul Train, you know what I'm saying, and people were like, oh my God, what's he doing? But I mean, in the streets, everybody's like, oh, that's the backslide. I mean, that's what made Michael Jackson fly him out and teach him how to do it, and then they started calling it the moonwalk when Michael Jackson did it. But
because he was floating.
He was floating. So, but that's what I'm saying. It's just like that, parkour was a street thing that people didn't really know about until when I saw that in the theater,
And
that's
that
the
dude
first
that
thing
was doing
I
he
saw.
was killing
He
it.
was killing it. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw him doing it. I said, "Oh, he doing parkour." I'm like, "Oh, let's get it." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Yo, this is about to be crazy." I was like, "Yo, this James Bond about to be off the chain," and I was right. This James Bond is play.
I was in there like, damn, dude, really?
That's a dope.
Like,
that's one of the best opening scenes to me in a James Bond film. It's one of the best ones. You know, they really took it. They did it right. If you're going to try to quote unquote modernize it, or try to they did it right. They really did it right. It was like I remember when that movie came out, I was calling it Bond Begins. That's what I was calling it. I'm like, this is Bond Begins. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Because I saw that trailer, I was like, nah, man, I don't want to see another James Bond. Like I was Bronson burnt out. I was like, I don't want to see another movie with like invisible cars, the invisible jet.
Yeah.
But then I sat down. I actually did the 2-for-1. I went to go see Rocky Balboa. I went to see Rocky Balboa, right? And I was walking out. I was like, damn, that was a good Rocky movie. And then that was getting ready to start. And I said, let me just go in here see the first couple of minutes of this Bond movie. And that whole black and white sequence when you see him getting his first 2 kills, I was like, oh, and then that part where he's jumping from building to building, I was like, okay, I need to sit down now and really watch this. What's going on?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I was standing up. I was like,
I need, let me sit down for a second.
I need to sit down.
No, that's good. So, yeah, I agree. So, but that list that that dude is great. Immortal roles. Like we said, I believe. I mean, like it's his list, so he has to think what he feels immortal roles are. But immortal roles to me are roles that either no one has done it better. If someone has done it again or before, they didn't do it as good as that person who did the role.
Like who? Like basically all of the characters from Back to the Future. Those are immortal roles. Who's playing those again? Nobody.
All right. Definitely. Who's going to play Marty McFly?
Ferris
Is it an
Bueller
immortal role?
Yeah.
Is an immortal role.
Now this guy want to keep it as dramas. Now, I wish
even as dramas.
Well, he deleted the original post. So people were saying, how could you like? I'm looking at it and they did say Ledger, but then someone says that this guy says always thought Hopkins' Lecter performance was overrated. Brian Cox was a better Lecter in my opinion, and also Ledger's performance is overpraised. Right?
You talking about the dude from Manhunter?
Yeah, they're saying the guy that played him in Manhunter, Cox, right? Was better. So the guy said,
go ahead and say that, yeah.
Yeah, but this guy says, I don't even know who Brian Cox is. Who is he? So they start listing all these movies that
if it was Immortal, you'd know who he is. If he did it in Immortal, if he did it in Immortal fashion, you'd know who he is. I'm sorry, that's the way I look at it. Because shit, Mark Hamill hasn't made a bunch of super blockbuster hits after Star Wars, but guess what? You know who he is. You know who Mark Hamill is.
He ain't did nothing. He lived his whole life off of being Joker and Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, Joker and the cartoon.
How many of y'all out there actually saw Mark Hamill in Corvette Summer? I bet very few of you out there watching the show right now ever saw Mark Hamill.
What was the movie? What was the movie he was in? I forgot the name of it. It was called like Voodoo something. He was in with Apollonia. Was he in a movie with Apollonia? I thought he was. I thought I saw him.
I don't know that part.
Yeah, I may have to look it up now. Let me look.
I gotta look that up right now.
Mark Hamill, yeah. I think he was in this movie. I know. Mark Hamill was in this movie with I want to say it was Apollonia. It's called like Voodoo something or something like that.
Wow.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I saw it. It was like a B movie that I saw on cable. I was like, oh shoot. Let me see if I can find it. It's all the way. It's old, obviously.
Like what's her face? What's her face playing Sarah Connor? What's the actress name? That's an immortal role. Like
Linda
nobody.
Hamilton.
He kept this to men. He kept this list to men.
He kept it to men. Okay.
Well, like I said, I'm
Black Magic Woman. That was the name of it. Black Magic Woman. And that he was in that movie with Apollonia. Yeah, I remember that. Mark Hamill.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. I think he was getting busy in it too. He was getting busy with Apollonia in that movie.
Whoa.
Black Magic Woman.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker, whip out your lightsaber. She's like, whip out your lightsaber. But I mean, other people, like somebody said, like Val Kilmer in Tombstone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would.
Because nobody played him like him. Because what you call it? What's his name? He played him in like the year after that in Wyatt Earp movie.
Yeah.
What's his name? Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid played Doc Holliday. Nowhere near Val Kilmer.
Not like Val Kilmer
close.
did.
I wouldn't even have wanted that movie to come out. I wouldn't even have wanted that movie to come out if I was Dennis Quaid. I'd be like, yo, this dude crushed it, man.
Can't do it.
He crushed it.
Can we rename my character, please?
Huh?
There you go.
Rename my
character. Can I get a new
please?
character name, please?
Yeah. I'd be like, can you please give me another name? Give me another. Yeah. Thank you, Joseph. That's right, Dennis Quaid. You're right. I would have never. I'd have been like, yeah, please, can you change my character name, bruh? Come on. And to be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie. I think what you call it, Kurt Russell. Once again, I mean, I don't even know why Wyatt Earp even came. I mean, they were probably shot around the same time, but Wyatt Earp, that movie didn't even need to come out. We saw Tombstone. We knew everything we needed to know about Wyatt Earp from Tombstone.
Yep. Snake Plissken showed us everything we needed to know.
Exactly. He showed us everything we needed.
Now, Snake Plissken, immortal role.
Listen, immortal role.
Snake Plissken, no matter what you see him in. The closest one you might get with Kurt Russell is you say, well, that's Tango. That's Cash. That's Cash. Yeah. You might say that one.
Or Wyatt Earp. Or if you call him Wyatt Earp, because he killed that role too. He killed that shit.
It's like, you know what? Another one that's immortal. Sylvester Stallone is Cobra.
No,
Rocky, obviously.
Rocky and Rambo. Who's doing those three? Nobody.
No, definitely not doing Rambo. I mean, that would be so stupid. Could you imagine if somebody came out and said they wanted to redo Rambo? You know how much flack they would catch? Immortal role, like I said, the only reason why I wouldn't put Ledger is because you can argue that someone did it better than him. There's an argument there,
and it's a valid argument. It's a valid argument.
It's a valid argument. So that's the only thing that I can say. There's no argument that, I mean, and even if we take a role that someone else has done before or whatever, but there's no argument. There's nobody going to ever do. And another thing I'll say about Mo, he put Robert De Niro on there. What about Rob? I'll tell you one thing, because other people have played it and no one has played it as good as him.
Go ahead and say it.
In The Untouchables.
Listen. What's his name? Who's played it? Who's played it better? Al Capone. Who's played it better?
There's no one played it, and a lot of people has played that role.
Mm-hmm.
No one has even came close to Robert De Niro's version of Al Capone. Not even close.
That dude, he is the ultimate. He is the ultimate method actor.
Yo,
he physically gained the weight.
I think we touch on this. We touched on this when we were doing the verses
years ago. No,
I'm talking about. But when we talked about when we was doing the verses with him and Al Pacino, we was like, technically, he's a better actor than Al Pacino.
Yeah.
And I caught a lot of heat when we was from that show. People was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I was like, "Bro,
it's the truth,
I'm just saying."
Al Pacino listen to Al Pacino, with the exception of Scarface and maybe one or two other, maybe A Fish Called Wanda. Every movie that Al Pacino is in, he sounds the
He's
same.
not in A Fish Called Wanda.
No,
I mean,
not Fish Called Wanda.
What's the name of that movie? You know what I'm talking about.
No, what you talking about?
What's the name of the movie with him and the girl where he's in love?
Frankie and Johnny?
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna say he sounds the same in every movie because number one, Al Pacino's voice started to change when he got older for some reason because he sounded completely different when he was younger.
You can't even say he did. But you can't even say that because Al Pacino was Scarface, so he came with a whole nother dialect.
That's why I said with the exception
he said other than
Scarface.
I'm gonna say this. This is what it is. I'm not now. This is what. Let me put my caveat with this.
Listen to his voice. Listen to his voice in Carlito's Way.
Yeah.
And then listen to him in
Donnie Brasco.
And Donnie Brasco, and then listen to him and then listen to him again in Heat.
Mm-hmm.
He pretty much starts saying that's when he starts the yelling thing.
After he got a certain age, his voice changed and he kind of started sounding the same voice-wise. Yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is this, and I'm putting my caveat with
He's
versatile. He is versatile. It's just the fact that doesn't mean that still doesn't mean that Robert De Niro isn't a better actor.
Robert overall, a better actor, and I love.
You know what I'm saying? He right? No, of course. But I'm just saying. See, people always take things the wrong way. That's why I'm putting my caveat out there. This is by no means. First of all, if you say that Robert De Niro is a better actor than Al Pacino, and you say that he's behind Al Pacino, he's behind Robert De Niro. That is not an insult. That's you know what I'm saying.
Nah,
but
it's just
I'll be behind Robert De Niro.
Second of all, here's the deal. Robert De Niro, because I think what I touched on when we did the verses, Robert De Niro has had more. He's had better roles. He's done better roles. He's had better characters. I say, he's more diverse characters.
But not just that. He's gotten in and played in the mud. Let's just call it what it is.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I'm not gonna say that Pacino hasn't dug deep either. Yes, he has.
It's not to say that. But they play in mud. They play in mud
differently. Because, like I said,
I'll go with that.
I don't think it. Here's the deal. I'm be honest with you. I got to be fair, but even though I'm saying that Robert De Niro is, in my opinion, slightly the better actor, but Robert De Niro could not have played Scarface.
No.
Period.
Oh,
he couldn't have done that.
There's only one other person that can actually play who actually could have played Scarface, and that's Jeffrey Wright. Say what you want. Jeffrey Wright is the only other person that can possibly.
I can't even say that because Jeffrey Wright is too down the line. If Jeffrey Wright was doing movies at the same time when Scarface came out, then you got a different argument.
I'm saying if you decided to do, if somebody really.
Remake. If you do a remake, I would go with Jeffrey Wright. Yeah, I would go with Jeffrey Wright because he's such a good actor. He could do it. But he could do it. But what I'm saying is this: I'm just saying that had they have, because there's plenty of times they were out around the same time, right? So there's plenty. You could take some of their roles
and Al Pacino and what's his face don't look like he's Cuban, so of course he couldn't do it.
No, but Al Pacino didn't look like he's Cuban either until he did the role. He did Scarface. He didn't look Cuban in The Godfather. He looked Italian. What he is.
Yeah, well, he is Italian. So
right. So what I'm saying is, so my point is, he did the role because he really dug in. He put his foot in the shit. You know what I'm saying? He really put his foot in it and really was able to be believable in the role. So that
out his ears.
Right. That alone, to me, is what makes him, still one of the elites. You know what I mean? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just, I just think that, and yes, there's roles that Al Pacino wouldn't have been able to play that De Niro has pulled off. You know what I'm saying? Such as the role from Cape Fear. Al Pacino he would have been able.
No,
let me be clear. Let me be clear about this. Yes, he would have been able to play a role of a crazy dude, a stalker, whatever. That part of it he could pull off. But the way and the fashion that he pulled that De Niro pulled that character
wouldn't have
off,
made it. He wouldn't have made it creepy as. He wouldn't have made it creepy as.
He wouldn't have made it creepy, and he wouldn't have been in shape that De Niro was in. He wouldn't have did that. He wouldn't have did it because he just wouldn't have.
I have to say this.
Now, De Niro could have played Pacino's role in Any Given Sunday. I could see.
Yeah, he could have.
De Niro doing that one. Yeah,
he could have.
But I have to
Max
say,
Trickle, no. Max Cady,
no. It's just like It's just like another immortal role is Michael Keaton's role in Pacific Heights. I hated that motherfucker. I hated
he was great in that. I loved him.
He was so good that it was disgusting. It was disgusting.
He was great. Now here's the deal.
But what I think that was so
Michael Corleone role. The funny thing is, Robert De Niro actually did audition for Michael Corleone. Obviously, he didn't get it. He read for Michael Corleone. He read for Sonny. These are all characters that Robert De Niro read for and tested for. Obviously, when they gave it. Remember, that whole thing was a whole controversy. I think the studio did want to give it to Robert De Niro, but Coppola fought for Pacino. Yeah, Pacino was new. See, De Niro was not as new. You know what I'm saying? He had already did some of the earlier movies that he was doing. So they wanted De Niro. And he ended up going into the second movie playing young Vito Corleone, which turned out to be really dope. But yeah, so so that's what I say. But yeah, I don't want to dwell on that because we're gonna, soon we're gonna end the show. But I agree. I think immortal roles, it's a good topic, but you gotta approach that the right way. And you have to first explain to people what the hell do you mean by immortal roles? You know what I'm saying? Is it a role that
has to be a clear definition?
It's got to be a clear definition. And I think what we're talking about is more clear than what he's talking about. Because how do you not put Indiana Jones on there?
Bottom line.
How can you not see anybody? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, how can you not put Indiana Jones on there? You know what I'm saying? So it has to be
not for nothing. Han Solo, not for Han Solo, and we've seen someone else play Han Solo, and we're like, hell no, nah. No.
So, but here's the deal. Oh, like I said, you hit it right on the head, Kev, when you brought up Indiana Jones. That's just ridiculous. How you not put Indiana Jones in there? But we'll move away from Indiana. We'll go to like some of the other people that we said. Like I said, if it was a role that they clearly killed it, like I said, such as I'll take Wyatt or like Ralph mentioned, Doc Holliday. It was played by someone else, another good actor, as a matter of fact. But it wasn't even close. I'm sorry. Dennis Quaid's a good actor. But
great actor.
He's a great actor. But guess what?
That
wasn't it.
I mean, he ain't Doc Holliday.
That's Doc Holliday. Nope. I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah. You a daisy if you do.
He said, yo, I'll be a Huckleberry. He said, yo, and y'all play with my blood, I'll be a Huckleberry. That's just my game. He said, yeah. He said, well, Johnny Ringo, you look like someone walked all over your grave. Yeah, many. That movie alone's got so many freaking quotables. It's ridiculous. Even when you talk about Wyatt Earp, go ahead, skin it. Yo, me and my boy
smoke wagon.
Yo, shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Dion from Hipstead. Yo, every time we see each other, go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Been Throw down, boy.
The biggest
I've never seen nobody get smacked like that.
The biggest bitch out in movie history. That's one of them. It's in my top 3. That's right along with the dude from Dead Presidents.
Oh my
when he
God.
said "suck it, nigga," when he put the gun in his face. That was a bitch out. And that's right along up there with "sit your $5 ass down before I make change." That was also a bitch out.
Now
that was bad.
I might sit there and say that might be an immoral role.
It's possible that could be Nino
that
Brown.
was the career defining moment.
Listen.
That's a career defining moment.
That is an immortal role. Because you know what? Because listen, I'm not gonna lie. The rest of the actors were good in that movie, but listen, they actually could have restructured that movie and put better actors around Wesley for that. I mean, listen, they could have surrounded him with better actors for that. And don't get me wrong, the what they did in the movie was good, but Wesley he brought it to the table. What's funny is he didn't like playing those kind of roles. He didn't want to play those kind of roles.
Joseph said Jason Robards played a good Al Capone in The Saint, Valentine's Day from 1967. Okay, I don't know if I saw that one, to be honest with you, Joseph. But I'm sure there's other people that played Al Capone.
But did he add on 30? But did he add on 30 pounds? Did he do that? Did he transform his entire body to make him look? Then no.
This guy.
Did he give you the brooding sense of, you know what, somebody's about to die? When he was walking behind them at the table with that baseball bat. Yo, that's the one. Yo, that's the one. Like out of that whole movie.
We should do a whole list of memorable scenes. That's got to be one of the most memorable scenes in a movie.
That's one.
When he beat him with that baseball bat.
Listen, that was one of the few times in my life that I actually had anxiety, and I wasn't even sitting at the table. It's like that's like when you know your mom or your dad is about to beat your ass for some stuff that you did, and you know it's coming, but you just don't know how it's coming.
Just know when. My parents rest in peace.
You feel the covers get snatched off you in the middle of the night.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd say. My parents rest in peace. They wait till I went to sleep. I thought it was all good because I went to sleep. I thought I was gonna make it to the next morning. Like, nigga, please get your ass up. Wow.
Listen, not even get your ass. Listen, they wait until you're soaked. They let you go take a shower, get nice soaking wet, get your skin all tender and soft. And clean, and you smelling all soapy, and they wait till you get in REM sleep, and you can't even get your focus on. It's like pow! You don't even feel the first hit. It's like the second.
You feel it. What? You feel it, but it don't register. So, like in your dream, you fall or something, or you got hit by a car in your dream or something, because it didn't register in your brain right away. Because that happened to me.
And the dog
bite you. Yeah, exactly. Because what happened to me one time when I was sleeping, I got stung by a bee while I was sleeping, and the bee stung me right here in my temple, in my head. And in my dream, I bumped my head on my night table. That's what I thought happened. Like I was dreaming, and then all of a sudden in my dream, boom. Because like your brain has to find a way to notify you that you just got hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it just registered in my dream like that. Then I woke up like, oh my God, what happened? I'm holding my head and I see a stupid bee. The stinger came out too. It was inside of my head. And I'm like, and then he was dying, and I crushed his ass with my I was like, bah! I was like, yeah, I crushed him right there on the wall with my fists because I was like, son of a bitch, that shit hurt. But that was crazy. But yeah, I think that's a cool thing that you brought up, Ralph. But they need that dude don't need to be making that list. We should make the list.
I'm looking at his profile. He's at least 30-something years old from Australia, so maybe that's what it is. You just ain't got access.
That explains it. You ain't got access to this stuff here. I didn't think he'd be older than 30. That's what I thought.
He looks about 30. Couple of tattoos. He looks like he was one of the kids in Beyond Thunderdome somewhere, living out there in the.
It's funny to me how these people talk about how stuff is so underrated or so overrated. Like, oh, such and such is overrated. Why are you? It's so overrated.
Once again, I told you about that Black Films Rock thing that I'm in. And somebody put in there, and like I said, it's there. I don't have no problem with you stating your opinion. So, but they just want to get it. I think sometimes they be posting stuff to just make people mad. But I don't have it here, but he said something like, well, unpopular opinion. And he said most overrated acting performances. And I think he did have Heath Ledger on there as the Joker. He had there's someone else he said too. And then there was another one that put up about overrated movies. But like I said, it's purely your opinion. So that's why I didn't answer it because that's his opinion.
And it's hard.
You're not going to change
to answer that
their opinion.
And it's hard to see if they were smart when they said this stuff.
But what he said, let me just say this, Kev. What he said was, here's my unpopular opinion. These are all Black films that I felt is overrated, that everyone thinks, is great. And he said The Color Purple. He said Purple Rain. He said there was something else he put in there. I think Purple Rain was on the list. What was the other film that he put? I'm trying to fit, but anyway. So I'm just like, I didn't answer that because that's your opinion. So,
but see, here's the thing about that. See, I want to know how old that guy is, because here's the thing that they miss out on that. If you didn't grow up in a time period, it's easy for you to sit down and say, oh, that was overrated. Like because you weren't a part of the culture at that time, so you don't understand the significance of that. And as much as I'm not a fan of the Godfather films, I understand their cultural references. I understand. I should say their cultural significance. So I would never knock that, even though personally for me it wasn't a thing that I was into. But I understand their place in my history.
Here's what he said. He's like, my opinion, unpopular opinion. I like how he titled it though. He said unpopular opinion that nobody asked for. So then he said by all-time tops, overrated 5 overrated Black movies: The Wiz, Purple Rain, Last Dragon, Juice, and Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Those are his 5.
Listen, let me tell you something. Every last one of those films, with the exception of Diary of a Mad Black Woman, you cannot say that because you weren't. I mean, you can say it, but it holds no significant weight because you weren't a part of the culture to understand the experience of that. Yeah. You weren't a part of the culture. You weren't a part of the Saturday morning kung fu culture to understand why Leroy,
the Last Dragon, right?
You couldn't understand
how significant that was.
You couldn't understand if you didn't watch a Bruce Lee movie. You can't understand the cultural significance of why that character loved and felt why he was called Bruce Leroy. You can't, and sure enough, you cannot understand that. You cannot look at The Color Purple and understand why Whoopi Goldberg's and Oprah Winfrey's characters were who they were in those movies and understand their cultural significance because you weren't a part of the culture at that time. And specifically with that, because we were still coming out of Hollywood's
the only good black movies are movies where blacks are slaves or demean characters. But if you and again, this is another cultural thing. You don't understand the fact that in that movie, they're not too far. They're only like 3 or 4 different generations from some of our ancestors that were born here who were basically raped and robbed of their culture, who didn't know who they were. And that's pretty much why those characters were the way they were, because they had no sense of identity except for who they were coming from that post Jim Crow or in that, because I think that was around the time of Jim Crow. I think that movie took place. It was definitely in the South.
It was definitely in the South.
Yeah, it was definitely in the South. I don't know if that was around Jim Crow era or
it was post Jim Crow, I think.
But you can't really speak, or actually you're actually speaking out of your ignorance, because even with some of the stuff that's going on today, you still should be able to look at that movie and get a sense of understanding of why that movie was so important when it was made. Even though it was made by Steven Spielberg, it was still a very it was a cultural important movie of the 80s. Like
it was. And same thing with you can say that same thing about The Wiz,
Exactly.
I mean, for its time, the time that it came out, it was very important because, to be honest with you, I still to this day know plenty of black folk that never saw The Wizard of Oz. They never watched it.
Yeah.
It seems weird to me because I'm such a movie person.
Yeah.
But
technically speaking, depending on your age, you saw The Wizard of Oz before you even saw The Wiz. Depending on how old you are.
Most people,
what it was.
A lot of people did. Most people did, But yeah, to find out, to see how important that was, and especially in that time, to see our people, to see your people, your own people,
and iconic people.
Iconic people. Diana Ross, Michael Jackson,
Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Russell. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you got all these people be like, oh man, he's an iconic black. You had Lena Horne. And like all these people, like, oh man, this is like great to see all these people.
And it was a Broadway show,
right? It was a Broadway show. Yeah. So,
but see that part, that's my only problem with The Wiz, is that personally, I do like The Wiz. I did not want Diana Ross. It should have been Stephanie Mills. That's my only gripe with The Wiz. I would have took Stephanie Mills over her. Now, we've always talked about remakes. I don't mind if someone wants to go out there and remake The Wiz. Yeah, because it looks like crap. Today, you look at that, it looks like crap. Remake The Wiz. Now, I don't know who you're going to get to. Because if you remake The Wiz, and I swear to God, and I mean this, if you remake The Wiz and you put Trey Songz as the Scarecrow, I'm burning everything in America down that's playing it. I swear to God.
I can see. Now, you know who I could actually see? Now, I could see. You want to tell me Chris Brown is going to play the Scarecrow? Exactly. I can see that.
Exactly.
I can see that.
Yeah.
He's tall. He's lanky. He's tall. He's
don't know
lanky,
if I'd be happy with it, but I can see it.
I can see him.
No. I know who you.
I can see Usher as well. I can see.
I see Bruno Mars.
Yeah,
Bruno Mars. Yeah,
I see Bruno Mars doing that. I think he's short, but hey, you come on, Hollywood. You know how to work cameras. You know how to make the guy look 9 feet tall.
I can see Usher. Yeah, I know it's true. I can see Usher.
Chris Brown.
I can see Chris Brown. Chris Brown is probably, to me, a front runner for it because he's tall and lanky. You know what I mean? And he would do good with the movement, and he would kill it. He would kill it now.
I see why Ralph would say Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars. Yeah, no, Bruno could. I think he could pull it off too.
Yeah, he would be more. I think he would be more animated, but he also would be more closer to how Michael Jackson played the role than Chris Brown or Usher.
Yeah.
Chris Brown or Usher would probably be something totally different.
I have to. I don't know. I'm not sure.
You know Hollywood do.
Because don't nobody. I mean, obviously nobody
Hollywood
moves like Michael Jackson, but as close as you gonna get is Chris Brown. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And then they probably would have to have Beyonce playing, Diana Ross role, which I'm like,
no.
I don't think they would do that though. I don't think they would do that though.
No, but Hollywood, if you're gonna do, who should be playing Dorothy? Jennifer Hudson, hands down. Jennifer Hudson. The woman has an Oscar. She's used to this.
Well, no, because she's too old now to play Dorothy.
Yeah,
she's not.
Wait, whoa. Jennifer Hudson.
I know. Diana Ross played Dorothy. Yes, but I
mean, personally, I would take Rihanna, but you're not taking Rihanna. Maybe in light they would take Audra Day and put her.
Andrea Day can probably do it.
Okay,
yeah, Andrea Day can do it because vocally she can carry the role. Vocally, Rihanna couldn't carry that role vocally.
Mm-hmm.
No. Forget what I just said. I'm taking her. Let her play Dorothy.
Audra Day?
That woman.
Yeah, she's perfect age too. Her.
Yeah, her.
She would kill it. She would kill it.
She'd kill it.
She would kill it. She's great. I like her, man. She's really good. I like her. That would be. I like her.
But that's a movie that I could say.
So we casted
starring her.
You have her playing Dorothy. Maybe Chris Brown playing the Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
Who would play the mean old lion?
I hate to say this. God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but he's perfect for it. And because I hate his ass, but he's perfect for it. What's his face? Walmart guy. The guy got hit by the Walmart truck.
Who's that?
Who's the comedian that got hit by the Walmart truck?
No.
Yeah. Tracy. Listen.
He'd probably be funny though. He'd actually
be funny. He would be funny as hell. Not looking at Ralph. You gotta think about it, Ralph. He's in costume now. You're not looking at his face. You just have his voice as the lion. He would kill that. And I don't like Russ knows I do not like Tracy Morgan. But Tracy Morgan would be perfect as the lion.
I got that image in my head now and I'm dying.
No.
I'm saying the lion.
Yo, as soon as y'all said it, that was the first person that came to mind. I was like, God damn it. Because I hate Tracy Morgan. But you know what? Tracy Morgan would be perfect.
You Dorothy.
Yeah, exactly.
I can hear him now.
I'm hustle man. I'm hustle lion. You're saying like this.
You're
putting on the pieces, bro. No.
Where you going? Yo, that shit is hilarious. That's
like saying Kevin Hart. No,
that's not saying like Kevin Hart.
No, that's not saying like Kevin Hart. That's not saying like Kevin Hart. That's just not like saying Kevin Hart.
No. I honestly, as much as you hate, and that's why I'm laughing too, because I know you hate Tracy Morgan, but he actually might be funny.
But he would be funny as hell as the lion. He would bring life to that character. He would definitely bring life to that character.
Yo, walking on this yellow brick road. I'm saying this yellow brick road.
Yo.
Yeah. Why can't be yellow? Why can't be black? It should be a black road.
Follow the yellow brick road. Yo. Oh my God. That is
I don't have no courage.
I ain't got no courage.
I don't got no courage.
Yo. That's too funny, man.
Who got my 40? Who got my 40?
Yo, I think he
I need my
that's
catnip.
funny.
I need my
That is
catnip.
funny, dude. Yeah, right. That's funny as that's a good one, Kev. That's hilarious to me. He would be funny. The 10 man. No. Now the 10 man, I could see someone like Neo maybe playing the 10 man, or
yeah.
You know, I think Neo be because you gotta be like, cause see, you can get away with the lion not being somebody that can like sing. You see what I'm saying? That's why
really sing.
Tracy Morgan would work, because you don't really need a singer. But the guy who plays like the Scarecrow and somebody who plays the 10 man, they should be able to sing a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you know who else would be good as the Scarecrow too?
Yeah.
What's his face? That was going to play Richard Pryor. Why can't I remember this damn guy's name? Can't remember nobody's name.
Who, Marlon Wayans?
Who?
No, not Marlon Wayans.
Was Sean Wayans?
No, not Sean Wayans.
Well, Marlon was the one who went out for Richard Pryor, but you're talking about the one who got the role.
Yeah.
You're talking about Mike Epps.
Mike Epps. Mike Epps would have been a good Scarecrow.
I
don't know. Mike Epps is funny. He's not funny. I've never found Mike Epps funny.
Well, the Scarecrow ain't supposed to be funny. The Scarecrow is not a funny character.
Exactly.
The Scarecrow's not a comedy character, though. He's not a funny character.
Mike Epps owed me $100. Me and my girl went to see him at Caroline's. Me and my girl saw him at Caroline's years ago, right after Next Friday came out. And he wasn't funny until somebody called him Day-Day. Then he was funny for like 5 minutes. Granted, that was back in 2002, something like that. But no.
Joseph says, "How about Chris Brown as the 10 man?"
No. That's like me saying I'd rather have as the Cowardly Lion Cedric the Entertainer. Like no.
Cedric might actually be Cedric might actually be good as the Lion. Cedric might actually be.
He could be the Wiz.
Yeah,
he could be the Wiz.
Yeah, he could be the Wiz.
But Cedric as the Wiz.
Yeah, I can see him as the Wiz. I can also see there's a couple people I can see as the Wiz. There's a couple people I can see as the Wiz. Steve Harvey could be the Wiz. He could be the Wiz. You know what I'm saying? Because he's got that. He projects. He's loud.
Yeah, exactly.
He could be the Wiz. Who else?
Damn, light be beaming off his head.
I know, right?
Wait, I'm sorry. Let's take it back. You know what? You know who would be a good lion? Michael Blackson.
His big eyes.
Oh my god.
Big ass eyes.
With his African accent, he's a lion.
Yeah. He's a lion, so he'd be from Africa. He'd be like, "Eat the lion, Dorothy." He'd be like, "Dorothy, you follow this yellow brick road." Yeah,
motherfucker.
You mother suckers. He would be funny, but he'd be too funny as the Lion. I think people would just be going crazy over him.
Yeah, I think so too.
He'd be too damn funny, almost silly funny as the Lion. But yeah, the 10 man. Joseph has said, "What about Chris Brown as the 10 man?" I think actually Chris Brown could be either one. Yeah, I think he could be the Scarecrow or the 10 man.
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool for him to be the 10 man, because he'd probably bring some sort of robot type move to it if he was the 10 man. You know what I'm saying? He'd be rocking like pop locking robot style as the 10 man. You know what I mean? So I think he could do either or, actually. So that's not a bad one, Joseph. Good look there.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Morgan, no.
Nah, yo, bro, I gotta go with that one. I gotta go with Kevin.
He's the Lion. He's the Lion. I'm sorry.
Dorothy. Yo, I'm telling you, Dorothy.
We need to go this way.
We need to go this way. You gotta follow that yellow brick road.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Samuel L. Jackson as the Lion saying,
"Oh my god, yo,
fucking road.
We gotta travel on this road, bro. You see the
coward? Who you calling a motherfucking coward?"
Exactly.
Or Dave Chappelle. What did the Paul say to the face?
God damn, Dorothy. Yeah, no, that's too funny though.
Like, look at your
Is,
Dorothy with those chocolatey lips. You know, Lions got the biggest penis on the planet. You know?
yeah.
Where you from?
He
You
be
from
swinging.
Kansas? I heard about you, Kansas City girl.
He be swinging his tail like, yeah.
Wait, yo, he said with those chocolatey lips, yo, that skit, yo, that Aunt Jemima skit on Saturday Night Live, yo, that shit was the livest shit
that was funny.
ever. Oh my god. Well, Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima. Yo, they just went. That's how you know Dave wrote that. You know Dave Chappelle wrote that skit, and because number one reason why you knew Dave Chappelle wrote it because that skit they didn't give no F's about offending anybody. That's number one.
Zero.
That's how you know that Dave wrote it. And then with the way he even though he even was improv, that was funny. When he talk about Pete Davis's lips, he's like, "Look at Pete Davis's lips,
chocolatey lips."
He's like, "You chocolatey nigga." He said, "You chocolatey."
These streets,
Yo, these streets will eat you up, you
alive.
Nigga. I said, "Yo, this was." But he's like, "But I'm not even black. I'm chocolates. I'm made of chocolate lips." Yo, let me tell you something. That was like, to me. That's one of the funniest ones I've seen because I like when they do these skits where they don't care and if they offend you. That's why Dick in a Box is so funny because they didn't care that they offended you with that skit. That's why it's so funny. That's why that one that Adele did was mad funny with the with the Africa, with the women, the white women in Africa. That was hilarious. But people were
the fact that that's a real thing. That
it is real. But that's what makes it even funnier. That's what really makes it funny because stuff like that really happens. To me, also one of the best skits that was, once again, borderline offensive. And just right there with the crazy in the windows was the one with Janet Jackson when she was in the cork, the winery, when they would cork the bottles and they're like cork soaking. They have to soak the corks. Like she's like so, but they say they're speaking it with an Italian accent, so. Cork soaking sounds like, what I'm saying? So they're like, oh, yeah, exactly. So like, oh, she's like, so how do you do? Yes. We have to soak the corks. You have to soak the corks. He's like, and then while you soak, you can either soak the cork, and while you soak the corks, you can massage the grapes. And he's like showing it, but it's a winery, right? So they talk about, when they cork the bottles, but before you cork them, you have to soak them. And then Janet was breaking so much in that skit. It was hilarious because she kept almost saying suck. Because she was like, she's like, so how long have you
sucked? Yeah, I remember that one.
Corks?
I remember that one.
And he's like, oh, yeah.
Now I remember
he's
that
like,
one.
we've been soaking corks. And then Maya, of course, Maya Rudolph, she's like, when I was a little girl, I learned to soak the cork. She's like, and I was the most popular girl in school. I was like, that is I couldn't believe that made it on there because it was just so funny. It was so borderline. You know what I'm saying? With
yeah.
And then he's like, because he's like, oh, remember when remember when we were in college? Yeah. And he was like, oh yeah, when we tried, and you soaked my cork and I soaked your cork. And he's like, what year was that? I don't know, somewhere between 68 and 70. It was just like, that was one of the funniest skits ever because Janet could not hold it. She was dying. She kept trying to, and then they're like, oh yeah, what they say? She's like, can one of you teach me how to soak cork? They're like, oh yes. You come here, you can soak on my cork all the night long. Yo, how did that make it to air? I don't know. But it was I swear, I'm crying now thinking about it. It was
Saturday Night
funny,
Live
yo.
at times they like. What was the one not that recently when they had when Chris Rock was on and he was working for the office of the name changes and people come there and they had these weird names and then like one girl, her name was Amber Spits and Swallows, you know, and it was like,
God.
wow, really? This is what we do on TV? I gotta go back and watch that episode.
That's why it just one final point on it. That's why the person that I want to really meet is Alec Baldwin, because in that scene, Alec Baldwin's, you could tell he wanted to laugh so bad, but he was just holding it. He didn't even let himself turn red. He stayed in character as much as he could. But I know when those cameras weren't on him, I know he was like, I know he was glad when that skit was over. Because you can see it in his face.
What he did with this sweaty meatballs when he was a meatball guy, and they were talking like in this low tone sense where he's like, "I'm just here to show you my sweaty balls, my sweaty meatballs,
my sweaty meatballs, sweaty balls." Yeah. Oh man, I like I said, bro. I think I need to look. I'm gonna look into who the hell wrote that cork soaking scam? Because I know Jimmy Fallon was in it. Jimmy Fallon was one of the act. That's when Fallon was on Saturday Night Live, and this was Saturday Night Live.
That kind of sounds like something he would write. That sounds like something he would write.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wrote it because that was crazy. But you had Jimmy Fallon.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Horatio Sanz was in it. Janet Jackson obviously was the guest. Chris Parnell was in it. Seth Meyers also was in it. Daryl Hammond. They had the squad, yo. Daryl Hammond was in it. He was another cork soaker. And then you had Maya Rudolph and Rachel Dratch. Yo, Maya Rudolph was funny, man. She
is hilarious, man.
Every time I soak in the cork, I was the most popular girl in school.
her and Miss Dreyfus, those chicks are so damn funny. And speaking of them, let's get back to the
I like Tina Fey. I thought Tina Fey was funny.
Yeah, Tina Fey is funny too.
Yeah, so we'll wrap up the show with the Mount Rushmore.
I got some issues. There's two people who I'm looking at your Mount Rushmore.
It's not my Mount Rushmore.
Corey Matthews, Boy Meets World. He got to go. I mean, but he got to go.
Why? He's just a choice. He's just an option. There's gonna be people that choose him.
I got two people I want to add, and one I want to change. You have here Danny DeVito from It's Always in Philadelphia. If you would have said Danny DeVito in Taxi, I would have been with that one. I would have gave you that one. But
did you see Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I've seen episodes, but he is not as funny as he was in Taxi. He is not. He is not as funny as he was. He is hilarious.
A lot of people argue that, though, Ralph.
Listen,
that's a big argument. A lot of people argue that because he is funny, and there's always Sunny in Philadelphia.
He is fucking hilarious in that.
I mean, he's really they're all funny, but he's just like one of the main. He's like the main guy in that show.
Yeah.
So that's what Taxi also had an ensemble cast, and like me and Kev talked about this too. I liked my favorite character in Taxi was Christopher Lloyd's character. He was my favorite character in Taxi.
Yeah.
So because of that big ensemble, yeah, exactly. He was great. And then he break out and start playing the piano. You're like, oh my God, he could play the piano.
Yeah,
he was dope.
But
and who else did you say that?
But the two people who I would have added to this, how you gonna forget Michael J. Fox as Alex P. Keaton?
Yeah, I thought about that. I can still add him. No, he can still. It's still time to add him. Michael J. Fox.
And for me, I'm putting down John Larroquette as Dan Fielder in Night Court. I don't think Night Court is nearly as funny without him. Even though it was Harry Stones, but without Dan, I don't think it works. You can replace Harry, but you can't replace Dan.
Yeah, I mean those. I can still add them tonight. To the list. That's fine. The whole point is to give people options because they have to choose 4, and you got to take characters throughout the years that people loved to watch these shows.
You had to make sure you had to cover a couple of decades.
Yeah, definitely cover a few decades. So that's kind of why and I may end up add another person, like I said, because you got some of these more modern shows. Like the most modern show that I got on there is Modern Family. You know what I'm saying? So you got like The Office, you got Parks and Recreation. Like these are shows that people of today religiously watch. You know what I'm saying? So I did not get into those shows, but this is not my list. This is just a list for people to choose from. So I have to do a little research to find out who should I put on there. Yeah, you could put him on there. I could put him on there, definitely. John Goodman from Roseanne. Most definitely. I put him on there.
No Tony
but
Danza.
Now that's just putting them on a list. But when you're talking about Mount Rushmore,
he's not on Mount Rushmore, but on the list.
No, but on the list because at the end of the day, Mount Rushmore becomes a personal
generational.
Thing. Yeah, generational and a personal thing. You know what I'm saying? People.
But if we're keeping it a buck, a buck.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's definitely a personal, thing. Generational could be, because there's going to be a lot of people that surprisingly won't choose Ralph Cramden.
Well, I'll tell you right now
because of how old the show is.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, but I'll tell you right now, my Mount Rushmore. Everybody else is is the rocks at the bottom of my Mount Rushmore. Look it up in awe of who they are. Period.
I think that some of the people, that's why I want the list to circulate. Everybody, make sure you share the poll, get people to vote. Because I don't want just a bunch of people from this era to vote on it. I want everybody, really people from our ages, they should be the ones voting on it. Because to me, part of being Mount Rushmore is one of those iconic type of roles that, are so classic. You know what I mean? That's why when you think about Ralph Cramden and stuff like that, these are like classic type of roles that you could consider. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are gonna. I'm telling you, a lot of people are gonna miss Dick Van Dyke. You watch Rob Petrie, what's his name? Robert Petrie, whatever. A lot of people are gonna miss Dick Van Dyke, and that's a shame.
Bob Newhart,
right? No, these are the people that are not going to. A lot of times they're going to get overlooked, and it's a shame. Because everybody should know. Now, Dick Van Dyke wasn't even in my era of film. Yeah, Dick Van Dyke wasn't even in my era of sitcoms.
But here's the thing about that though, Wes, where what you're about to say, even though he wasn't from your era, he was from your era because we still grew up on a lot of that black and white stuff because it was still syndicated to television.
No, it was syndicated. Exactly, it was syndicated. Yeah, he was in my era, but the run of it wasn't. The run of it wasn't in my era.
Right, the start of it.
So the start of it and the full run of it that was not in my era. Joseph said, "Do not look." He said, "Do not overlook Jackie Gleason, Dick Van Dyke." No, exactly. These are people who are, in my opinion, definitely belong up there, and a lot of people are going to miss out on that.
Yeah, and that's why I love that. That's why if reincarnation is real, and I have to come back again, I don't want to come back as one of these new kids.
Mm-hmm.
Send my ass back to 1970 and let me start all over again.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, like for me, as far as like favorites and stuff, really with the more modern stuff or the later shows that's from here, characters really from the later shows, meaning like late 90s and up,
That's when you start talking Seinfeld.
Yes, you start talking Seinfeld. For me, I always loved
what
Doug
about
Heffernan.
What about Larry Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Larry David.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that considered a sitcom? Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I would think Curb Your Enthusiasm is a sitcom. I would think it would be. It's not a drama, but it's
not a drama. But is it
but what's that? That was that. But that was an hour-long show, though, right?
I think so.
No, it's a half hour. It's a half hour.
It was half hour.
It was half hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it is then.
I would consider Curb Your Enthusiasm a sitcom. I would think it would be.
Well,
but he's playing himself in that. He's not playing a character.
Right.
Well, I mean, but you could make that same argument for Seinfeld. He's playing himself. He's not playing somebody. He's playing him.
Playing Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, you could say that too. Well, obviously, they're the same type of show. same type of creators, right? The same creators. So yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I guess
I was never that. I was never that
Curb.
great with Seinfeld. I thought Seinfeld was okay.
Seinfeld was
maybe
hilarious. You mean Seinfeld as a comedian or the show Seinfeld?
The show. I was just like, at times it's funny, and at times it's like, but then again, I think a lot of shows you have shows that are like, I love the Big Bang Theory. There are episodes of Big Bang Theory that are absolutely hilarious, and you got other episodes you're like, that's the best show I did this week. Like, really? I'm not paying anything for this, so I guess.
Right. No, but I mean, whether you're paying or not, but the thing is, what made Seinfeld brilliant is probably why I did, even though Curb Your Enthusiasm isn't the same type of show, but it's got that same type of humor to me. And that's probably why I didn't get into it. But what made Seinfeld brilliant to me was the whole idea of it being a show about nothing. That's what that's the show. What's the show? It's about nothing. They're doing nothing. It's just like, we're sitting in the
just walking around.
Just walk around. We're sitting in the diner. Nothing. It's nothing really. That's what to me that was the brilliance behind it, which is funny to me.
And then
the characters became funny. Yeah, the characters is what really made the show funny. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't just if Seinfeld was doing that show by himself, it wouldn't be funny or as funny. The show was funny because of the characters. Kramer, and George Costanza, Lorraine.
That he was a damn fool.
What was her name? Lorraine. What's her name? No, what was her name?
Yeah,
I think it was Lorraine.
Oh, Elaine. Yeah. They're all funny. They were very interesting, dynamic characters. That's what made the show.
And they were able to play their chemistry. They were able to play off of each other.
Play off each other very well. Dynamic characters. Seinfeld, like you said, Ralph, he was pretty much himself. His humor, he was pretty much himself. But that's funny because his comedy is kind of about nothing. You know what I'm saying? His stand-up comedy. He's that type of dude. He's like, what's this? So. He could talk about anything. Like I think Jimmy Fallon did a Seinfeld impersonation, and they told him that it was like in a contest. They told him he had to do Jerry Seinfeld talking about Uber, And he was like, what is this with Uber? What was this with Uber? I mean, he's like, what? You got a car, you got candy. He's like, you got a car, and there's candies in the back. He's like, everything we were told to avoid as a child.
Candy strangers.
Everything we were told to avoid as a child, we are doing. What is with Uber? Yeah. But it's fun. But he does stuff like that because that's you know what I'm saying. But it should be funny though when you think about it. You're like, wow, that's funny. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm gonna do my list first because I gotta make up some time from the other stuff that I missed. For my black list is Fred Sanford, Bill Huxtable, George Jefferson, and Benson. For the black women, it's Claire Huxtable. Period. Everybody else is at the bottom looking up at her.
That's not right, man. That's not right. That is not right.
Yeah, she's just the entire mountain.
She's the entire Mount Rushmore. Everybody's just looking up at her and her beauty.
I'm gonna tell you this, right. When I came back in the country, right, I was in New York City one night, and it was the opening of the play, Some Like It Hot. It was a revival, all black cast, right. Yeah. Everybody that was in that play came out. Everybody waited outside till 3 a.m. for Felicia Rashad to walk out. When she finally walked out, there was a crowd of people, including myself, wanted to meet Felicia Rashad. People were giving her roses. They were called the Mrs. Huxtable. And she was like, oh my God. I guess now it's a role she had played in the 80s. This now was now 2008. You're always going to be Mrs. Huxtable forever.
Yeah, she's going to be Claire Huxtable forever. I'm sorry.
Forever.
She's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine forever. Now my
and everybody.
What you saying, Ralph? Everybody what?
I saying everybody else in the cast. I mean, it wasn't no scrap. I mean, it was Terrence Howard. It was James Earl Jones. It was a bunch of big people in that cast. But everybody wanted to wait till she was the last cast member to walk out that door. You know, and you know when you go to Broadway plays, people wait outside the door and they wait to get an autograph and picture. Everybody waited until she came out. She was the one person everybody wanted to meet, and it was just like, wow, that's Mrs. Huxtable and in the flesh and blood standing in front of me.
And that's why her face is the only face that's on Mount Rushmore.
That's hilarious.
You just solidified what I said. Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate it.
She's the only face on it. And, go ahead, Ralph. Go ahead, Kev. Finish.
All right, and so now my main list for what we're talking about tonight is Archie Bunker, Jack Tripper, Ralph Cramden. I had Al Bundy, but I'm taking Al Bundy off, and I'm putting Fred Flintstone on there.
Fred Flintstone.
We talked about this. Now here's the thing. Technically, I just didn't want to put too many. I didn't want to get into animated per people because there's, motherfuckers gonna have a whole four animated motherfuckers on there. Because if you put Fred Flintstone, then you got to put George Jetson, then you got to put Peter Griffin, then you got to put Homer Simpson. And there's your Mount Rushmore right there. So I'm gonna reserve them for sitcom dads list because they're all dads.
That still works. So Fred will still be on that list, but Fred is over here too. Fred is my man. Fred is my man. All right, if I gotta take Fred off, then I'm gonna put Andy Griffin on there.
Okay. Yeah. So that's yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's what I love about Mount Rushmore. We could do so many of them because it's only 4. So we could do so many of them, really, and just keep going on every topic. Because like we talked about before, we could do theme songs, sitcom theme songs. We could do TV theme songs. We could do, we could do, Even like we said, sitcom dads, sitcom moms. There's Claire Huxtable again. Sitcom moms, sitcom dad. Well, no, she's not by herself. Sitcom moms, she can't be by herself.
I don't
you
know,
gotta
man.
have
I
her.
mean,
You gotta have Brady. Mrs. Brady gotta be on.
They should put her foot in Miss
moms.
Brady ass.
No, she got sitcom moms.
I would have took Mrs. Partridge.
Carol Brady.
Took Mrs. Partridge over Carol Brady.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd hang with Miss Partridge.
I would have took Mrs. Partridge over Carol Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd take
Partridge
that one.
over Carol Brady.
Although, but not. Wait. But not for nothing. I mean, Florence Henderson was giving it up to 19-year-olds.
She was
on
hot
the show.
too. Florence Henderson was hot when the Brady Bunch first started. With them short skirts she always had on. Yeah.
And
Greg was knocking it down.
Shoes and the blonde bob. You might have
Greg
to say,
was knocking that down.
What's going on underneath your pleated skirts, Mrs. Brady?
I say Carol Brady is there, but there's a lot. There's a lot.
I'm
with
saying
that too.
Peg Bundy. Give me Peg Bundy. I'd take Peg Bundy.
You say Peg Bundy,
but
she was a
Peg Bundy.
terrible mom. She was funny, but she was just a terrible mom.
But she is smoking, yo.
She was funny.
Katie Seagal.
Katie Seagal was hot, and she was funny, but she was a terrible mother.
Actually, she was a terrible mother on everything. Even when she was on
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. She was the fucking worst.
She's on some new show now. Now. I caught the
Rebel
where her husband was going to. He said, "Can I?" He got me. He said, "Is it wrong for me to want my wife to at least one day a month cook me a meal instead of out there helping everybody else? Is that too much to ask for?"
She's too good at that. She's probably a terrible mom. That's messed up. She's too good at that. But there's a lot of ones you go over that. But anyway, we can go over these different topics. I'm gonna I really only have to I just have to decide between one person because I've already got 3 of my 4, and that's I got Archie, I got Fonzie, and I got Archie, I got Fonzie, and I think I put Ralph Cramden there. I just have to choose between. I'm trying to decide between Gilligan and Jack Tripper. Those are the 2 I'm deciding.
You bugging right now. There is nothing to decide between Gilligan and Jack Tripper.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to decide it because Gilligan was a big character. They had dolls and shit of Gilligan.
Come on, it's named after Gilligan's Island.
A big character. It was a huge character. They've never had no Jack Tripper dolls. You know what I'm saying? Gilligan, and with that stupid hat, with the fisherman hat that he always wore. That was just like became this thing. And no matter what, if Bob Denver was wearing that hat, you knew who he was.
Okay,
like,
all right. I know how to
Gilligan,
settle
little
this.
buddy.
I know how to settle this. If you trying to get some ass, who you rocking with? Are you trying to hang with Gilligan, or are you trying to hang with Jack Tripper?
Neither. I'm hanging with Dan Fielding. If I really want that, I'm hanging with Dan Fielding. That's what I'm hanging with.
No, I'm hanging with.
But
well, it all depends.
You know what? That's a loaded.
That's a loaded question because if I'm trying to get up,
he gets it.
No, but if I'm trying to, I might want to get up on Ginger, so I might have to go hang with Gilligan. You know what I'm saying?
Marianne. I don't want Marianne.
I wanted Ginger. But as a matter of fact, what is her name? We met her. I met her in person. She's so cool too. I can't think of her name. Who played Ginger?
Louise something.
Yeah.
It's Louise, right?
Something Louise. Tina Louise. Tina Louise. That's her name.
Yeah.
Tina Louise. We met her. We interviewed her on Block TV one time. We met her at an academy, like an Oscars party thing. She's very cool. And actually, she was bad. She was like in her 70s at that time, but she's still kind of hot, dude. She is still in great shape. She was, she's still in good shape. She came to that Oscar party. She had a nice little dress on. I was like, Tina Louise she's still hot. She's like 70.
She can get it.
I was like, yo, Ginger, that's like a fantasy right there. No, but yeah. Tina Louise was funny though, but she was always mine. Marianne was hot too. Now, don't get me wrong. I think everybody loved Marianne because she had them shorts on all the time.
Yeah.
But shoot, but Ginger was my chick. But anyway, that's who I'm deciding against. So I'll let everybody know the official one. I'm leaning towards Jack Tripper because he's my favorite, but yeah.
See, I got two. I do good Ralph Crandon and Fonzie. The other two, I'm sorry, man. I just can't forget about Al Bundy. I know can't.
Al Bundy, but see, I'm not putting Al Bundy because I just felt there was more characters funnier than him. But he was a big character.
Yeah,
he was a huge character. He defined, at that point, he was one of them dudes that just defined where like what Kev said off air. Like, yo, you knew when he sat down, put his hand in his crotch, that's a man right there.
Exactly. He slid his hand right down his stomach, right to his underwear.
Every man knows what that is.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. And people know. You know what I'm saying? And any woman who's been married to a man or spent a lot of time with a man knows that's what men do.
Listen, women lay on their side and tuck their hands between their thighs. We tuck our hands between our pants.
It's simple. So, and that's just how you sit. So that's just, definitely he's up there too. I'm decided because me. What I like to do is I like to really look at all of the factors and see who, even if it goes against my favorite, I want to see all of the once again, because even if I said I'm deciding between Gilligan and Jack Tripper, but I can still say I'm deciding between Gilligan, Al Bundy, and Jack Tripper because they were all three really huge characters.
Yeah.
Gilligan was just a huge character, though. I mean,
that's why I kind of switched out. That's why I kind of switched. I originally had Al. Actually, it's still written there. I originally had Al Bundy was my final choice, and actually, I even said that earlier. But then I thought about Fred Flintstone. And then I thought about, I also thought about Andy Griffin. I love Fred Flintstone. Fred Flintstone is a funny motherfucker.
Yeah, he was funny, but I don't know. I put Fred. I look at Fred Flintstone as a cartoon version of Ralph Cramden. That's why I did. So it's
but that's why I went. If I had to remove him, I had to go with Andy Griffin. And the only reason why I'm going with Andy Griffin because that show was funny, but it was so wholesome. It was like I can't explain it.
No, I know what you mean.
It's just like that's like if I had the choice of what am I going to watch, if I had to binge watch something all day, I could binge watch the Andy Griffin show before I could binge watch Married with Children.
Joseph put Wilma. Yeah. But we'll revisit that. So anyway, we'll wrap the show up now. But we'll revisit all of these and we'll come back next week with our decision. Everybody go and vote. Start voting. I'll place the poll again on my Facebook. I'm gonna place it it's already on the Real Talk Facebook page. I put it in the chat room there. I'm gonna post it again in some of the rooms that I'm in, like the what's it called, the groups. And let's get people voting on this. This would be pretty cool. I mean, most of the ones that we've been talking about on our ones, I believe is going to end up at least 2 of everyone that we said. At least 2 out of them is going to end up on there. Yeah. And so, but we have to see. That's why we put the the other choices on there. So, yeah. Because I would tell you right now, when we do couples, I know you don't like Corey on there, but he definitely gonna be on there when we do Corey and Topanga. That's gotta be in the couples. That's gotta be a choice in the couples because that, especially for that generation, they gonna say Corey and Topanga.
As a couple, yeah, I'll give you that one, but on its own,
I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna put them on Mount Rushmore, but they could be. They're definitely in the talks. Martin Topanga's in the talks.
Like Winnie and Fred. Then
Winnie and Fred, Corey Topanga, Martin and
Claire
Gina.
Claire and
Cliff. Claire and Cliff.
They're
in it. Whitley and Dwayne Wayne.
And everybody's looking up at them.
Whitley and Dwayne Wayne.
Well, they're one tier below them. They're actually one tier below them.
Lucy and Ricky Ricardo. Ralph and Alice. You gotta put Ralph and Alice Crampton in there. I have to put, if I put them, I gotta put Doug Heffernan and Carrie Heffernan. They were the new modern age Ralph and Alice. You know what I mean?
Oh, King of Queens.
Yeah. Doug and Carrie Heffernan. They are hilarious. Me and my daughter. Shout out to my daughter Alexis. Me and my daughter Alexis.
This is who I put into that couple thing.
Who?
Carrie Bradshaw and Mr. Big. Carrie Bradshaw and Mr. Big.
No, that I can see that definitely. Because that was any couple that's been going and you got that they've been together or you see them, they want to see them together and they break up and anything like that, you gotta put those type of couples in these things. Steve Urkel and Laura, you gotta throw them in there. All of that. But I was saying, me and my daughter, we talk about the King of Queens all the time, man. We talk about real life things that happen to us, and we're like, this is like a King of Queens episode. Like we say, because it's like some of the stuff that he says is just so funny. But all of those couples, because you got the couples that they love each other, but they always bantering with each other. So you got like Heffernan's and the Cramptons. George and Wheezy going at each other. I mean, Archie and his wife, they wasn't going at each other. He was just really him going at her most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But and another thing we have to, we'll come back around and do. We'll do couples, but then we have to come back around and do dual, not just couples. Dual, as in George and Florence, or as in Archie and Meathead, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Martin and Pam. Right. Martin and Pam, arch nemesis, or like that. That's another one we can do. We got so many lined up that we could do. We got to make sure we get to them because those will be funny, man. Everyone has arch nemesis. And Jerry Seinfeld and Newman. Newman. He couldn't stand it. Newman was funny too. But so that's we got to always do that. There's a lot of them we could do. So we'll get with this one. We'll come back next week. We'll talk it up. That's it, man. Thanks everybody for checking the show out. Everybody that hung around. Everybody that's gonna watch the show archive. We appreciate you. Like and more importantly, share the show. It just takes 2.5 seconds, not even 0.5 seconds to hit the share button and share it. Subscribe to the channel. That's another one. That takes even less time. It's just one click. Bing. That's the one that takes 0.5 seconds. Sharing takes about 1.5 seconds. Because you gotta copy it, or if you hit share, you can share it to a social media if you want to just.
You gotta really sit down and think. Like
do I really want to share these 3 motherfuckers with the rest of the
Yeah,
world?
you really do.
Exactly. You do. Yeah. So yes, you do.
We're gonna change your lives. We're gonna
do like
educate
this.
you with a little bit of knowledge.
These are not the droids you're looking for. These are not the droids. You want to share. You want to share. So we'll do that. All right, y'all. Good night. Have a good one.
Peace.